All right. And we are finally live in 2021. Hello and welcome to The Last Word with Ebontis back at the campfire. Man, it feels like I haven't seen you or talked to you in ages. It feels too long, but we got a special guest going on today too, man. Well, first of all, what's going on, man? How you?
Man, for those of you guys who have been following me, my internet has given me hell. We got through the crazy podcast with Obi Kitty Cat, the 4-hour beast episode, but it was a good one because we had a month off and everything seems to have happened in Destiny. The community's got a whole lot of stuff that's going on and my internet felt like just crapping out. So I've had 4 techs to my house. I've had 2 new cable modems, a line at a node, had a crack in it. Everything's gone wrong with my internet. But at this point, cross our fingers, things seem okay. Knock on all the wood you can. And at this point, been playing a bunch of other stuff. We'll talk about all these things, but we've got a guest waiting in the wings. So Cognito, back to you. Let's introduce him as we only know how.
Do this thing, 2021. Welcome to The Last Word, episode number 132. It's a glorious Friday. We're back in front of the campfire for some more looter-shooter discussion. I'm extremely excited about our special guest, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord whose passion for the Destiny franchise and the Titan class is only matched by his dedication to bodybuilding and creating a positive atmosphere on Twitter and Instagram. Introducing the in real life Titan main and owner of the most hilarious video skits on the gram. Our fellow fitness Lord of Iron who remains Jotun obsessed, but will still find a way to sneak some ice cream in on cheat day. Live from Texas and making his debut at the campfire of The Last Word, my man, Lord TheIRLTitan. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Woo! Let's do it. Long overdue, man. How you been, brother?
Been busy, very busy, as are we all at the start of this interesting year.
Oh, to say the least, yeah. This year has been kicking off, hit the ground running, to say the least. Not a slow beginning, apparently. It's just going to try and compete with last year, which was a whole mess in itself. But yeah, I know we know you well from like Twitter and stuff like that. We know this man is out here grinding like level 700 on the season pass because he loves bounty knockouts. But before we even get there, like, man, you are in some amazing shape, and it's something definitely hard worked on. Good to be proud of. I just wanted to ask you first, when it comes to that, I saw your kind of progression. There's a pic of you look definitely younger. I don't know the age of it and the comparison between the two. When did you decide to go from like, I've got some muscles to like to the next level? When did you decide to take it to where you are now? Like how did that progression happen to be like, I'm going to be fit to I'm going to be a beast?
So there was almost no choice for the progression. At about 10 years old, my dad got me, my older brother, and my little brother, when each of us turned 10, started in the garage. We trained for 6 years straight before we told him we wanted to go to the gym. He said if we passed a PT test that we had 90 days to prepare for, I'll buy y'all a membership wherever you want, and the rest is history. Currently going on 18 straight years worth of training.
Damn.
He said PT
you had to
test.
Yeah, I'm like PT test?
Y'all? Oh, he wasn't playing with y'all. This was
Monday through Friday, 5 a.m., even when he deployed. Mama Bear got us up.
Wow.
Salute. Wow.
So this is
it's
just
kind of always been something that I've done. It became so ingrained in me and my brother's DNA that we did it. You emulate the things you see, and we saw both of our parents just tearing it up in the gym. There was no way we weren't going to get into it. I wasn't going to be like, Dad, I think I just want to be an artist. He would have been like, all right, here's this dumbbell, or here's a 400-pound weight brush. If you can lift that, you can bang. Go ahead.
Oh, man.
Salute, man. You're tremendous, man. I mean, definitely the dedication and discipline from young. See that travel. Now, also staying on this bodybuilding kick, like another thing that we see you do is with the nutrition. You're really good about that, eating clean, doing like. Tell me about how you started to kind of incorporate that, or also help others with nutrition.
Yeah, so that kind of came once I got a little bit further into it, and just you start working out, and you really realize how important the nutrition is almost right out of the gate if you're meant to get into it. And that was just kind of the same deal. Is my parents constantly, they didn't have sodas or snacks or anything like that, or we'd come home and we'd have celery and peanut butter, chopped chicken, just stuff that was already pre-made, so we didn't question it. We just came home, it was there, you can get moving. But I went to school and got a bachelor's in nutritional science. I went through another program and became an RD. And nutrition is so integral to everything that happens in your body that if you get it going right, you feel better. The looks and all that aside, that's really not part of it. And that's not part of it that I like to focus on ever, because I know plenty of people that on paper or in a photo, you'd go, man, that dude's huge. He looks great. He's probably happy. My man's got clinical depression, high blood pressure, a resting heart rate over 100, pre-diabetic, you name it. I've met him. I've trained him. Like, you just, the whole, there's a big disconnect between people's health and the aesthetics behind it, especially with the social media and YouTube, and that whole side of the fitness industry is a lot of good and a whole lot of bad.
Yeah, I wanted to ask too, is like, because for you as well, it's like you have a degree in, diet, you're dietitian, you have an actual degree in there, which takes that next step. Because some people like nutritionist and dietitian is like the medical, you're in hospitals doing the help, giving people things that are going to help them change their lives and put them on a proper path. But for you, I mean, you've got an Instagram out there and your pictures, it's like a lot of people probably in a gym would look at you potentially and say, that guy's taking something, like something not natural, things like that happen. And it's like, for you, as long as you've done it, like, yeah, it's like hate. It's like, as long as you've done it, like, you've done this, I would like naturally. But it's just like that type of thing. I know, does that bug you at all? Do you even care? Or are there ways that you could look at someone and be like, that guy's real, that guy's fake? Are there certain things that you even can know with your background that you can tell? Just kind of curious, because the look definitely makes some people be like, hey, why does he look like that?
Yeah, literally no matter what you're doing, somebody somewhere is going to dislike you for it. If I was the best cupcake maker in all of Texas, there'd be someone on the corner like, that dude is using cheap Chinese sugar. Don't you dare go buy his cupcakes.
That ain't the real
If
cupcake.
I was on YouTube, somebody's going to hate my channel. I get hate on my OnlyFans all the time. I'm telling you. It's constant.
Yeah, take it on OnlyFans, huh?
Don't worry, we'll edit that in post. Anyway.
Savage.
But
just keeps teasing that it's out there.
The look definitely, I get met with a lot of hostility from certain people, or, working in my storefront, it's usually, hey man, you look great. Wish I could get on what you were on. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. A couple weeks back, I had a lady tell me how did she phrase it? Oh, you're smarter than you look.
Oh, God. You're like, I've got a degree. I took it to another level. Like, what the hell?
You just smile through the pain. 2020 taught us a lot.
Jesus.
We're all there. But I don't mind. Mostly because for the one kid that walks up to me in the gym, who I can tell has little to no confidence, who's really overweight, who comes up and says, hey man, I really don't want to bother you, but if I could get 5 minutes of your time at some point, email, phone number, whatever, just have a conversation with you, I'd really love to learn something. I will drop what I'm doing and give that man every ounce of my time for free, no questions asked. Because that's the person that I do it for. I don't care about Joe Schmo who's over there ego curling weight that he can't handle. That
curling just like this, like
I don't. Those guys will always be around, but it just definitely. I don't go out to bars or drink, because if you're a big guy at a bar, there's always somebody. There's always someone gonna make a comment, whatever. But that whole side of things, I really don't like to focus on, period. And I feel like most people that do it and do it for the long term, it's the exact same way.
Look, man, keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring on that level. That is really cool. I mean, I know once in a while I'll put up some inspirational stuff, and you always send love, and same way with you. And it's cool to see that kind of like I call it like the inspirational train, and people are doing their little thing, whatever it is, even if so you're just out there doing cardio or whatever, and you see it, and I love it. I think it made a couple other people do it too. And I love what I'm seeing because as gamers, which we're gonna get into, I think it's important. I think it's important. I think it's important for us to still prioritize some level of fitness. That's why I got so much respect for Ease. When they put them points in that thing, he got to get back there and do. He does it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
He does it
every
and
time.
you know what I'm saying? And he's a kickboxing instructor and stuff like that. So it's cool to see this little thing we all got going. You know what I'm saying? I think it's dope.
And see, before we move forward, right there is something, especially this time of year, that I think anybody, anyone in chat, anyone watching this later, that you've got to know. If you're nervous about walking into a gym because you think you're going to be judged or people don't like you, whatever, nobody cares what you're doing. Half of them won't even realize you're there. And the rest of the people in there will be rooting for you either to your face or silently. That whole stereotype of it's all a super personal conceited thing. It's just not there. I love seeing people make progress. I wouldn't be working in the field that I'm working in if I didn't want to see people get healthier and succeed at something.
I was like, literally cannot reiterate the more. Same thing. It's like you have people walk in the gym, and the hardest thing for them to do is try and come in.
Yep.
To walk into the door and be like, hey, I'm curious about kickboxing's where I'm at, but I'm curious about fill in the blank. It does, like, whether you go in a gym, whether you go anywhere else. And as we were talking a little bit before, as you said, the one guy you're in a big box gym, and the one guy who walks up and says, hey, if you got just a couple questions and the fact that you're going to go help in, or somebody walks in and be like, it's like, things haven't been great, but I want to make a change, is like, you made the hardest part. You walk through the door.
Yep.
And honestly, anybody in like the classes that I'll tell anybody is like, trust me, is like, you can push yourself as hard as you want, as hard as you're capable. Everybody's on a different level, but I promise you, everybody's trying to do the same thing. So don't let anybody else put you in a world of like, oh, fear, or they're doing more than they started somewhere too, and you're here. Everybody's on the same level. So no, I cannot support that enough, because that's same thing I deal with every day. People like they come in the door and they're excited and nervous at the same time, because they're like, kickboxing, I don't even know if I can do it. I'm like, I can show you how. Just take it slow, be patient. I'll show you the technique. We'll get there. Like, can't even do a push-up. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to show you how to build up to that. And that's the thing, is there's so many people that expect one thing, and then when you show them that's not how it is, it's kind of eye-opening and helps people really start sticking with it. So no, it's like, yes, 100%. I was like, sorry, I kind of went off a little bit there, but the way you said that, it was like 100%, especially as COVID-19 is what at least everybody seemed to have packed on. It's good that we all know we kind of want to get it off. So,
you preach it. Same thing. That's literally what he said. It resonated because I was the same way. Over 10, 12 years ago, whatever it was, a long time ago. But when I stepped in, I was a skinny kid, 140 pounds. Very intimidated to even walk in there. All these people were bigger than me and stuff like that. And I used to put these mental blocks in my head as to why not to go. And then, you just go. I said, you know what, I want to improve. And then for me, I would do little tricks to get me to go. I would like, okay, I gotta have my music. I have to have a little nice outfit, a nice shirt, get the fly gym kicks. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, okay, I brought this fly stuff to make me look good. I feel better about myself. Now I gotta go. I spent this money. And those are the little motivation tricks I used to do to self-motivate. And then eventually I said, okay, I don't really know how to accomplish these goals. So I just went up to a trainer. I'm like, look, man, I'm new here. I just want to get started, and we started a routine for a bunch of months and stuff like that. Until I finally got comfortable at about 6 months to a year, whatever it was. And then I was able to kind of train on my own safely, correct form, all that good stuff. And just keep my ego out of it. That's what I learned early.
Oh.
Keep my ego out of it. Stop looking at the dude next to you with all the plates and making the noise and doing all that. Just do what's within your constraints. Listen to your body. When your body's telling you, yo, fam, that's not it. Or we at our limit right now. Stop. It's okay. You got to come back, fight another day. You still get a good pump. And just going. Literally, sometimes.
110%.
Yes. Sometimes just about going. Sometimes like you be tired. You could think of every excuse. Legitimate excuse not to get in there. And then you push, you get in there, and you're so satisfied on the way out because you're like, you know
they're
what?
always the best.
Yeah.
The best sessions are the one you didn't want to do.
Facts.
100% every
Facts.
time.
I mean, 50% of a crappy workout is definitely better than no workout. So even if you're like,
Right.
but I was like, you may wake up on the wrong side of the bed, be tired, and be like, dude, I don't know if I have that much energy. I'm like, hey, just work on your form. Like, go
Yup,
slow. Yeah, go.
Facts.
And that's, I mean, you said it too, is like ego. It's like, we were joking before we got started, like, people like trying to do bicep curls and using their, I'm like, I don't want to say it because I'm sure he's going to say the same thing, but I was going to ask you is like, if you have like one tip for people who are starting to work out, the ego would probably be the biggest thing is just start small and learn how to do it right. And don't judge yourself over like, hey, I'm a guy, I should be doing bicep curls more. I'm like, there are guys that I'll meet in the gym, they'll come in and they don't have a lot of muscle on them. They're lean, but they don't have a lot. I'm like, start small, doesn't matter. So I was like, just do it right and try and find the right form is probably the first thing I'd say.
Fitness at the last word.
Yeah, well,
Inspirational.
I mean, granted, end of the podcast, you guys make me do workouts in here, so I may as well start it that way for one with this guy.
Right.
Oh man, no doubt. What I was gonna jump into is just how I kind of came across you was I forgot, it was just like I came across it on Twitter, whatever. And I'm like, who's this dude at the GNC with the funny skits?
There's one where you're talking to yourself and I'm just sitting here dying the whole time.
So I wanted to get at you with that. Just like, how did that whole thing start? You know, you would incorporate Destiny, you would incorporate, gaming. Sometimes we fitness, just fun, random things. Cause like you remind me of the dude, I would actually go to the GNC and be like, yo, fam, what I need this, y'all got that protein or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So like, how did that start? How was you able to do that?
Man, I part boredom and just part personality, man. I'm manic. Like I gotta be doing something. I gotta have my mind focused on something. When I see something that's going down, I don't know how I have a conversation in my head when I zone out when someone's telling me all the excuses that they got for why they're not doing this or that. And I'm like, man, this would make a great video. You just know how it is. You pull from, I don't know. I just started doing it one day, man. I get bored getting these weird manic states where I just get going. Just think of something, get it going. And why not? That's part of my personality. It's part of who I am, man. Like if it makes one person laugh, cool. If 100 other people hate it, I don't care. I'm just gonna put it out there. If it makes me laugh, I'll probably watch it 3 more times later that month and crack up on myself.
That's what it's about.
I love it, man.
Yeah, man. Love the content. Hopefully, man, we gotta get that channel going, man. The personality's there. The talent's there.
You.
Zoe, what's up? We gotta get this man a channel.
She's been pestering me to get one going.
Bro, it's not. We all see it. Remember me and you were in the DMs. And I was like, bro, you're a natural. You have natural talent, natural charisma. You're funny. You know what I'm saying? You're doing a cool thing. You got this game that we love and stuff like that. Oh, you'd be surprised how many people would really flock to it and listen to it.
Yeah.
Thank you. See, so she's like, I tell him all the time. He would be amazing. I could
She's
literally.
yelling it in all caps right now.
She's yelling.
I love
she's yelling in all caps. I love she's yelling. Like you could see it, bro. It's talent. It's talent. But all right, he doesn't want to. True, he's got to do it on his own. I agree. But it's there. It's there. And I as a content creator, I feel I'm good at seeing potential in people, and it's clearly there, bro.
He's saving it for the OnlyFans. That's the deal.
It's not even necessarily that I don't want to do it. It's been a slow transition out of what I used to do. So without going into too much detail, I just spent 8 years working a government job. I was traveling all over the place, not anywhere fun. Middle East a lot, all that kind of stuff. And I was so focused on doing that, and I never really thought that I would stop doing that. Gotcha. That when I did, I'd hit probably the biggest wall that I've ever had to overcome in my life. And that's how I found Twitch.
Oh, wow.
As soon as I got out, I was talking to a therapist, and she was like, look, find something to get yourself into. Find a group or a community or something. Nice. And I came across a video from Jez online about hilarious. Destiny. Okay. Watched one of his vids. It was absolutely hilarious. Popped into his stream the next day. Started just lurked for a while, chatting with people, and then it just exploded from there. And I became very deeply engrossed in the community that we've got here. All the good and all the bad.
Indeed. Yeah, there
We got
have
a
been
lot of
some
bad to
ups
talk about
and
later.
downs. Yeah. The roller coaster of the Destiny
Yeah, so it's kind of
experience.
been, it's been a weird, it's only been, I think I was 20, just turned 26 when I was, it's been about 2 years since I left something I was doing for almost a decade.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
And it was like 17 to 26. That was the age range. Like I jumped right into that kind of stuff. So it just, yeah, it's been a slow transition out. So even, chat, if any of y'all are like, I got something that's bothering me, I got something that seems insurmountable, it really doesn't matter what the situation is. You can always find something that's going to help pull you out of there. And one of the best tips that I ever got was find a community. Connect with people, meet people. That's I probably would never be sitting here if I had kept doing that, or if I had just, never looked into something like that on her recommendation. So I'm very glad that, she didn't feed me any BS and just told me to get out into the world. Go at least try. Do something.
Absolutely. Yeah, E.
Oh, no. So obviously, yeah. How much, because you said growing up, like, training's been part of your life from 17 to 26, like, did not take long to go off and obviously do many other things. How was Twitch what got you into gaming, or have you been a gamer all of your life? Like, I know you've got some history there with some older stuff, but like, how much time has there been for that? Because it sounds like your time was fairly allocated previously.
Yeah, I mean, there's always time in between when you're doing stuff, and there's a lot of downtime. That's where a lot of the humor comes from. Even some of the most hardcore men and women I've ever worked with are absolutely hilarious. Just, you have to be. If you're in a really high intense environment, even, you look at military, this, that, my dad is absolutely hilarious. That's where I get most of my humor from. He's a super funny guy. Man has 10 combat deployments under his belt. He spent a whole decade in foreign countries fighting for, and just doing his thing. And he's absolutely hilarious. He's got his issues, but humor is one thing that I think really anybody, no matter what the situation is, even outside of military combat, anything like that, just people gravitate towards, because you have to do something lighthearted or you go freaking crazy. And gaming, like I grew up PlayStation, playing Crash Bandicoot, N64, you name it, Game Boy, Pokemon's the big craze these days. It's resurgent. I'm like, man, back in my day, I was playing on a Game Boy that didn't even have color yet.
Color, baby, let's go.
Black and green.
Like, man,
oh, man.
I'm telling you, yeah, it was. Tell you, you're playing underneath the flashlights while your parents are driving on the highway, and you get to make a move every 30 seconds because you're coming under one of the lights. I know both of you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh, yes,
that's real.
Road trip for sure.
Yeah, so like I grew up playing Halo. I played Halo with my little brother, all the time, and just that naturally. As soon as I heard that Bungie's developing a new IP, I was all in immediately. I feel like anybody that played Halo immediately made the transition into Destiny. At least gave it a shot.
Yep.
Absolutely. A lot of beginnings for a lot of people, man. It's just so cool to see that transition and you kind of approach Destiny. So we got to ask those questions. As far as Destiny, like we know the Halo background, right? We get that. So is it that simple? Master Chief, Titan? Was it just that synonymous? That's the class that let's go, we punching things? Like, what was it at the character selection screen? Talk to me.
I feel like a lot of that influence came from my dad and from those kind of characters that you read about. I grew up and instead of my dad handed me books on this, that, or the other, he was handing me books about Leonidas and the 300. He was handing me the Battle of Thermopylae. He was handing me the Book of Five Rings. Like, he did the whole. We were educated about everything, and you read about those kind of headstrong characters. I've just always gravitated toward them. I love Kratos, God of War. You telling me he ain't a Titan, man? He ain't playing Warlock, I can tell you that much.
Oh, man. Yeah, age 8, you're over there like Sun Tzu, the Art of War.
I caught that Warlock slander easy, damn it.
But yeah, it's just like, I love that kind of character. And just in games in general, I like playing characters that are a bit more tanky, somebody that's on the front lines.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
it's
usually
just
pick those
I had
characters,
that
too.
natural gravitation toward it.
I was this close. I remember
And then
the
he
character
saw the
selection.
floofy dress and he was like, I'm sold.
Yeah.
The disrespect. See, I got two of y'all today. This gonna be tough for me today because I like y'all both. I'm up against two headstrong Titans right now. It's so good. Osiris, we got this.
It's like, I got two brothers. My older brother really never got into gaming, but my little brother actually plays Destiny. He's a Warlock main.
There you go. See?
And I haven't disowned him yet, so that says a little bit of something
Salute, little bro.
about Warlocks. But it's nice that there was something for everybody. That was what the difference was between Halo and Destiny at launch. You play Halo, you play a Master Chief.
Yep.
Even if you play Arbiter in Halo 2, it's the same character. There's no difference there.
Another Titan question. Gotta follow.
Shoot.
What is your favorite Titan in lore? Out of all the Titans, what are your favorites?
Man, that's the question of the ages right there. I love Shax. Just something about Shax.
Yes.
That man, I feel like he's me as a Titan personified. Just like he's got the humor, he's got the focus, the fight, the fire. He's great, but there's so many great Titan characters. You look at Saint 14, man. You telling me seeing him pull a Vex out of a portal and beat him to death with another Vex was not some of the coolest cinematic moments we've ever had?
Oh, that was fantastic.
Like, man, it was so good. And when I saw that, I was like, this is exactly what I imagined Saint should be like. And they didn't disappoint.
No.
I completely agree. The Saint, me and E always say the Saint 14 missions. It was almost criminal you couldn't replay them again.
Oh,
right? Because
man. I would have loved to.
So good. Yeah. They were so good. I mean, as a Warlock, man, I had to admit, my inner Titan came out there. I was like, all right, this is the one where he put the bubble up, the one where he came out the portal, like everything. And he was fighting with you, I think, at one point. Oh, no, we tried to free him.
When you're freeing him and then you get stuck and he saves you. Yeah.
Oh, some of the best missions. Yeah, he's definitely, there's no question. Like I know this is a Titan. I got to give it back to E. But why do I feel Titan mains don't give Saladin much love? Talk to me about Saladin.
He doesn't get much love in the game in general.
Yeah. But where we at with I'm curious with Titan here.
Saladin just occasionally puts his witch's brew stew sitting up there at the top for a week and then he bails. Like we had the Rise of Iron, which honestly his voice, like the cinematic, the wolves, the fire axe. Dude looks like a beast, and then that's all we ever got. And he comes and goes every week, but we've never had any more expansion on him. And it's honestly really sad because the actor who does his voice does an amazing job.
Amazing job.
He's always had a cool story for, now we know his origins that he went through with the Iron Lords, the fights he's been through, his loss that he's been through, all of that stuff. I mean, you have, cannot remember the girl in Rise of Iron. Ephrodite. Yeah.
Ephrodite. Yeah.
Never got to see much from her, and she kind of wandered off and stuff so that always feels like it's not got the justice, and that's a whole discussion for an entire podcast of how little has been done with Iron Banner over the course of Destiny 2 has been really sad.
I would love to see a lot more info about Saladin because I live for Banner. Like D1 Banner was my thing. I loved it more than Trials. Like it was just my thing.
Same.
I love the aesthetic, the armor, everything about it speaks to me in that just old school blood and honor style. Let's get this fight going kind of thing. I mean, the axe, man. I need to get one of the. I'd buy the equipment, forge one myself if I could. Man, I'm telling you, I was hoping that Middle Tree Sunbreaker would have that axe instead of that hammer. That would have been the cool. I'd never hop off that class.
Perfect.
But yeah, I would love to see the lore expanded a bit on him instead of him just, hey, turn in your tokens here. Here's a 48 stat roll boot. I'll see you next week.
See you next week. See you next month.
That's all he gets is once a month. Hey, here's 4 bounties for a couple pinnacles. Oh, you don't need pinnacles? Well, I'll see you next season.
Yeah.
That's all he gets. But yeah, I wanted to ask you as well, some of what I saw you on Twitter, and I got to ask where it started. The bounty grind. Some of these weekly bounty turn-ins that you would put together as a quick little video and just bam, bam. And I'm seeing season rank like 4, 5, 600? Just like, where did you start? Why did you start doing that? Because for me, I never even I play a pretty good amount off and on. I have my ups and downs, of course, but it was like I don't get remotely that high in season rank. So it's like, what about the bounties spoke to you? And also, I noticed you haven't been doing it as much, which will kind of lead into some other things. But it's like, how did you get on that like level 600 bounty train? Like, what did that to you? I'm curious.
I had played the absolute heck out of that season and gotten to like 120, I think, really quick within like the first couple weeks, 2-3 weeks or something like that, the first go around, just because I had a lot of time off at the start of it. And I had a buddy of mine. At this point, I was still playing on the Xbox before I was on PC, and he was like, well, what season rank are you? I was like 120. He said, oh, only 120? I heard only 120, and I was like, all right,
The competitive
okay.
side takes over.
Next week, we'll see who's higher, because he was like 119. We come back, I hit like 156. He was like a $130. I was like, all right, we'll see where we're at next week. I really did it just to shut him up. But then it became like just it was interesting. I had nothing else going on. That was like right when a lot of the interesting stuff in the world started to kick off, so we all had more time. The season got extended, and I was like, the Bungie number is 777. I'm at like 500 and something. The season's extended. This is the only chance I'll probably have to hit that number, and I hit it the last day.
Wow.
What number did you hit?
777. And I still got it saved. Season of the Arrivals. I could throw it on the banner or wear it like a badge of honor.
Dude, that's perfect. That's the Bungie
good.
number 2. Yeah.
Salute.
What else you got?
I mean, these stories are amazing.
No, I was like, yeah.
Oh
But
my God.
before, like, we could sit here and talk to you about
Yeah,
like
we could talk about
fitness,
that,
nutrition, your background, just being a beast. But the world of Destiny in the past month has covered a lot of things. So we don't have to spend as much time on some of these, but I do want to touch on these topics because we haven't talked in a month.
Yes.
So in the past month, we have had the Dawning event come to completion and finish up and wrap up, and we saw how that ended. We have had, obviously, the TWAB heard around the community this week. We've had Stasis making its run. We've had Trials come back and kind of launch, and Adept Weapons. The State of Crucible, of course, with Beyond Light and Sunsetting. So we can talk about all that stuff. I don't know if you guys have a preference of an order because they all have their own little stories. Do you guys want to go chronological, or do you even have a preference? Or is anything just like, I want to talk about this first? Guest honor.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I feel like one of the things we could probably get out of the way a little quickly was the event. And we've started to notice a trend where I believe this is the second event that we've had where more than likely, if nothing was done to the progression, like the earn rates, how much we were supposed to have, we definitely would have failed at some point.
100%.
I mean, yeah, like there, I forget what I'm struggling to remember what the other one was.
Fellwinter's Lie,
that was
public
it.
event.
Yeah. And man, like, just like, they tuned, they had to, I barely played that season, mostly from time constraints, but that was worthy, right? When Trials came back, Rasputin, that whole deal.
We have a different name for that season.
But no way we were going to hit those events, man. Nobody was doing them. Half the people that were doing them didn't even know how to do it. It was god awful. They tuned it. We hit it. I honestly couldn't even tell you what the reward was. I don't really remember. It was Fellwinter, right? Was it?
Yeah, it was the shotgun. Yep.
Yeah. And this one, I mean, I don't know if it's unrealistic expectations of us or if they're not gauging how much community activity is still, like how many people are actively engaging in those kind of things in the community. But it's just been real interesting to see that we're like 2 for 2 over here. Are we going to hit a third one where they're like, hey, the rate of warlock dust that you're getting from killing stuff with Nova Bomb is a little low. We've upped it by 30%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What do you think?
Like, how do you guys feel on that? How do you feel about the rewards?
First.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of community-driven goals to advance some type of quest. To me, from the start, systematically, just you're putting way too much trust in the community to get that done, especially if there's unrest and they're not happy. So, to me, it's a little toned, especially when I feel like some of the goals are really high. They really, these are some large, whatever, 4 million. Well, I'm making up numbers, but like 4 million, there's cookies baked. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it's just like, okay, you really are banking on Guardians to go out here during this level of a drought of content or whatever people's frustration are. What I call it's like not gauging the temperature of the room.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So the fact that you have to keep going back and then stealth edit and then boost up experience and boost up, cookie making and all this other stuff. It's like, okay, you should have kind of learned your lesson the last time. So to me, I feel it's one of those things where, again, seasonal content, they're trying to extend and stretch stuff. And these are these, got the word I'm going to use, but stuff that just kind of ease things along because you really don't have anything substantial right now. And you're going to just put this in as a goal. But the problem is the community is kind of lashing back. It's almost a joke. And shout out to Tassie because it's like, let's see if we fail it. Let's not do nothing.
I mean, that's where we're at this point is, at this point, what's your incentive to do it? Because Bungie's at some point just going to slap the 100% button on there and be like, good job, you did it, even though we did the check mark for the other 70%, because we haven't actually failed one. There have been no consequences. It's just like an adult saying like, hey, if you backed out again, we're going to leave. And that's like the parent, if they don't actually at that moment get up and leave the restaurant or leave the amusement park and be like, if you don't follow through, there are no consequences to your actions.
Yep.
And it's like, it's a bad analogy for a game developer, but also it's like when you're saying, hey, we need you to make 1 million cookies. I don't know if it's a million or a billion. I forget the spirit number. It was crazy, ridiculous number.
Right.
But it was like, when you're like, okay, so same event we've had 3 years in a row. Rewards, get to that one in a second, of both what you got from the weapons and then also the rewards from the event. But yeah, it's like, how do they misjudge that hard? They have to have like active player numbers and like number of cookies being like that you could make. And then the worst part was like, okay, so you need to make these things. I needed to go get like, hey, I needed 1 fallen ingredient. Do you have any idea how hard it was to go get one? And how many cookies did you need to go make? And I'm just going, holy, what? Like, why was it so hard to get stuff? If you need all the shower us in that stuff, like you got to run around and make all these different things. That's fine. But I need ingredients from like shooting things with auto rifles and swords and a weird mix of stuff. But if I need to kill a fallen enemy, it's going to take me like 5 lost sectors to get one ether cane or whatever. And I was like, there's no way. I'm like, as soon as I saw how slow that was, I backed way off because I was like, it's going to take way too long to do anything.
My boy Kai Boxer did the same thing. He actually pointed out to me that they changed something in the algorithm where last dawning he told me, because I didn't pay it that mind, but he was really frustrated. He said what you said. He said that whatever material, he said last year you would just shoot the enemy or do that thing and it would be an instant thing. Yeah. Now it's almost like, I don't want to say a random, but a couple of percentage points. It wasn't dropping consistently per action. And he said, he was frustrated. So I didn't even realize that during the course of it. But I was like, wow, that was kind of like a stealth change that, happened.
They slowed. You had more blue ingredients than you could ever know what to do with. But the green ones, like the enemy race ones, fraction of what you would need on the other side.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And then the other piece was the rewards for the build. And this is where, for me, and this is where I'm going to say a couple of my 2 cents on it, is expectations seem to be a major issue for Bungie setting what's coming. We have had such an up and down as to what is at the end of these dark tunnels of community events. We don't know what's there. We got a Fellwinter story quest with, Rasputin and the lore and Fellwinter as all. That was a cool story mission. But granted, it was at something that nobody wanted to do. So you put something actually kind of cool at the end of something somebody doesn't want to do. This time around, people didn't want to bake cookies. And then the event this time was prisms and shards. Now, for some people, I will definitely say, thank you for the raid very much, Cass. Some people, like newer players, when they logged in and the event finished and they got a shard, they're like, cool, I don't have that many of these. This helped.
Right.
But for the average player or your dedicated ones who grinded stuff out, they're like, I don't need another shard. This is not worth my time. They either have enough or they don't care. So there was the casual players like, cool, I logged in, I got a shard. But on the other side, why does it have to be the community make 1 billion cookies or spirit or whatever it was? What if you just logged in every week? And as long as you logged in once a week, you would progress your progression, and the final week, if you logged in for the 4th or 5th week of the Dawning, you'd get your shard. Just come be active every week. It's not that hard to log in once a week, and that way it's not on the community or people like Chevy who did 6,969%, and he's like, I'm going to stop there. But I was like, that guy's doing like the work for obviously like tons of people, and that should not be that way. So yeah, I was like, yeah, Titan, what do you think on
Yeah,
rewards?
I mean, and even that was part of it. I remember, speaking of Paul, the very first photo I saw the first day is, oh my God, there's a kinetic with Dragonfly. And I was like, what? I was like, hold up. Did I just read that right? Let me scroll back up and check this out. It's like they gave Coldfront Dragonfly. I got to go grind for that. And like 2 days later, this is unintended. It'll be changed.
Oh, that was
just
much
like,
later.
It's like the community was like coming up a roller coaster, like, oh, and then we just,
and then they took the
ride
track out from
fell
under
right
you.
back down. We never got over the hill. And I remember seeing, as soon as I saw that, I was like, I got to get on a grind. And then as soon as I saw it was changed, I was like, well,
huge.
Back to PvP.
No, you're right. I mean, that was my motivation too.
I mean, I'm a fusion guy too, and they had the Glacio class on there. And I'm like, it's cool. We got Aaron Till with the paint job. Nice. Like it just, there was nothing that sang to me like I have to have this, or it has a really unique perk, or you know, the conversation right now is swaying heavy into sunsetting. And we all heard the man, we're gonna be able to bring out some hard hitting, crazy good weapons. And then we saw Temptations, we saw Falling Guillotine, and that was the talk of the town, man. Everybody had to have them. Everybody grinded their faces off for them. Name another weapon that's come out since then that's your next Falling Guillotine, that's your next Temptations.
They're not. Like, they're not there. And then this time around, what burned me a lot was Avalanche.
Yeah.
I am so, like, that's just pisses me off, because what did I have before in my Avalanche? Like, I'm pulling it up right now. I had Rampage, Feeding Frenzy, Ricochet rounds, and then I had medium zoom. Like, I had, I'm good. Like, I don't need one. It gets sunset in season 11. We're in season 12. Not even a season later, a month later, I'm like, yep, it's back. And of course,
they did do one great thing with Avalanche, though.
What?
They got the name right, because my damage feels like it's sliding down the edge of a cliff when I use that thing. I feel like I could be using.
The machines ain't.
Let me throw Lament back on, and let's take care of this the way the gods intended.
Facts.
So it's like, the reissues, and we'll get more on that later. But that was the other thing when I was like, hey, and I had a same thing with I didn't get the Dragonfly, which didn't matter, obviously, but I have a pretty good what is that machine gun? Cold Front?
Yeah.
I have a pretty good old one of those too that I had kept. I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. I didn't delete everything because I had a dynamic sway reduction, Feeding Frenzy, range, accurized, chambered compensator. I'm like, cool. Nothing even close. And I'm just like, and this is, we had our sunsetting whole thing before, and in theory had some potential, but right now it's a whole thing.
It's like you said before we move on from the awards, like you get everybody that gets that little gold golf ball, they're like, man, this is great, this is awesome. But those players that they're not hurting for materials, it's like, I did all this work for nothing, virtually nothing to show for it.
Yep.
That's rough, man. It's a rough position to be in.
Yeah, it's like secret missions, like the 0 hours, the whispers, even the Hawkmoon stuff, that, like, we kind of understand. But if the community event's going to be like, hey, if you log in every week or at the end of the chain, we're going to give you some upgrade rewards and we're not going to make it crazy out of reach, that'd be one thing. But if you put this, like, big giant thing, I don't know which is worse. What if it was, like, if it was a cosmetic spell or a golf ball? I'm not sure I would have cared either way. Because
We're in a
like
tough
we
spot.
have so many cosmetic ships and sparrows at this point. I'm like, you only need so many, I feel. But
Yeah.
With the rewards, we know they're hiring, but
Yeah.
you know, we gotta get. I know. Shout out to my he's been harping this. You know, it's the investment, right? It's the time investment, and again, just like Titan said, like, you know, when I heard about that cold front, I got so excited. I'm like, yo, Dragonfly on a kinetic. Like, you know, I'm already thinking about warm mind cell builds and flows I could come up with. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get grinding. And you know, that was snatched away, and it's like, okay, that's a bug. Okay, cool. You know, glacial cap, don't get me wrong, it is strong. It's really good. You can do damage with it. But like you said, it just, you know, you throw Avalanche back in the mix and we're gonna get into sunsetting. It just really didn't feel good. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they've got their work come out. That's why Dawn. And what's crazy is Dawn is one of my favorite events. You know, I do actually like Dawn, but it's like they've got their work cut out for them, especially with these events, especially with the time gating, especially with the reissuing. There's a lot they got to work on, man. For sure.
Yeah.
Community was not happy.
So that one came and went, and then the big hubbub was Trials. So two sides of that Trials coin. We can see which one you guys want to talk about first. Stasis and Adept stuff. Which one do you guys want to tackle first? Because they both have a fun piece to them at this point.
Let the guests decide.
I feel like the Adept weapons are probably, well, it's, I guess the whole topic will be as easy for us to cover as the weapons were interesting. It just, I mean, it just fell flat for me. Like you get adept range or adept targeting or you know, adept this, adept that. That doesn't make gun feel incredible. Because if you take a God Roll Astro Horizon, quick draw, opening shot, whatever, it'll slap people. You take the adept version out, it'll slap people. The feel of the gun is almost completely identical. The arbitrary hidden stats that you're gaining from there don't impact the flow or the gameplay enough that it's noticeable to the average player, even to the higher up players. If you throw on an adept targeting mod or you get a plus 10 aim assist or something like that, to be honest, it's fairly negligible with the way a lot of this works with controller, mouse and keyboard, what have you. It just doesn't. You can throw 2 targeting mods on your helmet and get basically that and be good and have, you know, more aim down sight speed, better handling, this, that, the other thing. I feel like what made the guns in D1, those adept versions, so good is we had kinetics with elements on.
Yes.
We had weapons that you used everywhere. That even if you weren't interested in trials or PvP at all, you saw that and said, I have to have it. I've got to go get it. I need to meet somebody. I need to talk to somebody. Whatever. Get in a community. Get somebody that can help me hit that lighthouse and pick up that gun. And there's not one of those weapons for me that I'm like, I got to go get it. It's not there.
Fire, brother, on fire. I mean, same thing. And I forgot about that because elemental primaries at the time was a trials kind of thing that kind of it gave, you know, benefit to a lot of those weapons, you know, and you know I'm in the same boat as you. You know, the adept stuff, it's barely negligible. Shout out to Cool Guy, he had a great video, and it was just like also I felt for the guys who already grinded and had like almost god roll versions of Astro Horizon or what's the
Doctrine? That one?
Not Doctrine, but the new one. What is it called?
Summoner. The Summoner.
Summoner.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, I get it now. It's like, and I'm gonna touch on this later too. It's like when you have the god roll or something, and then they introduce this, and then you gotta hope to get this thing back or get it again. You know, that was another thing. So, you know, and the thing I know E can't stand is the mods that do like, okay, you're gonna get this plus this, but minus this. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, it don't feel good, right? It don't necessarily feel good. So now you got to make these other type of decisions. And I guess my main thing right now was just like, okay, I wasn't motivated because it was the same weapons again, right? So I really wasn't. And let's be real, outside of maybe 2 or 3, they're not really meta weapons and they're not that good. Like what Titan is saying, to be playing even in the PvE sandbox. So it's like, and the last point is like, and I'm gonna keep stressing it, celerity should be intrinsically involved on the gun.
Yep.
Why is
Preach.
celerity just running around in the loot pool, messing up the rest of the gun?
Like how that one specifically, because I've seen Cool Guy say it and a couple others, Astacross probably too. Like big PvP players who spend their time in that playlist far more than I do. I'm not a PvP main by any means, but celerity, the only place it's ever going to get use, trials, elimination, maybe survival, whatever the comp stuff is.
Yeah.
Those are really your only three. I'm like, so if you take the time to go all the way to the lighthouse, you should have something that benefits you in those small circumstances where you're the last person alive.
Facts.
It comes, and otherwise you're wasting an entire perk slot. And then the other piece that I heard for a lot of people is how many high-level PvP players, again, speaking from other people's words, not mine, would prefer to have Icarus grip almost every other Adept mod, period. Because so many people have high-level players, the biggest thing that will set them apart, they have good gun skill, but the other piece is mobility. The way they move their character around, the way they're floating in the air, the way they can jump and hang in the air and hit those shots airborne. Without Icarus grip, you are shooting, you're trying to hit a barn and you're almost going to miss. So if you don't have that second slot, which is what a lot of us thought it might have been, you have to trade Icarus grip for one of these other mods, and most of them aren't going to do it anyway. So you can go range masterwork and you can go adept range, or you can go range masterwork, get a decent roll, and just go Icarus grip and be 10 times better in the air. And that's one of those trades that's like, and this is for me as a PvE player. I said it in chat. I was like, Grandmaster Nightfall rewards that are coming out. You got Palindrome, you've got the Swarm, and you've got, what is that freaking auto rifle? The one everybody liked, Shadow Price, I think.
Yeah, Shadow Price.
They're going to be Adept Weapons. So some of these same Adept mods are probably going to be coming. But again, Grandmasters, for the people who can run them all the time, they get all the exotics, they get all their rewards from them anyway. Is a Adept Palindrome going to set itself apart any more than any of these other ones? Some people really like the Palindrome. I know people are excited about that one specifically. But I was like, to me, is the grind to try and get a God roll in a Grandmaster, which, unless you're God tier player, for most people, they might ever get one. Is that ever going to be worth it for somebody? And a lot of me says no. And these Adept mods, if they're going to function the same way, I'm like, strike exclusive rewards that are like these slightly, smidgely better, like Masterwork Adept things. I'm already not excited about stuff that isn't even here. And I know I should probably say, wait until it gets here, but if it's just like the Trials chest, we kind of know what it's going to be.
Right. No, I mean, I understand the frustration. I think the problem for me is we went away from pinnacle stuff. And the pinnacle stuff added that chase. It made you jump in comp. It made you, grind for that Luna and that mountaintop or whatever it is in the Recluse. And, for whatever reason, they don't want to seem to go all the way guns blazing with this, either unique perks or this really hard-hitting, exciting type of weapon style. And I get it from a balance standpoint, but there's another part of me that's like, well, you introduced sunsetting, so you're going to get rid of it anyway. So why not? I think we kind of have to go back to it because it's like Titan said it best, like, plus 10 range ain't exciting me. You know what I'm saying?
It's just not.
It's just not. Like, you don't really feel it. You don't, it's very, that's the thing, man. Again, there's one side of the balance team that is fighting against this, right? But then you've got the sunset team, or whoever's doing that. And it's just like these philosophies are not mixing. And the problem is, and we said it last time, we did last word, was that even on the armor side, like, when
don't even get me started.
We introduced a Gambit set, a Crucible set, you know what I'm saying, Vanguard set, and you see this drab outfit with just a color swap, and I'm like, I'm not grinding for that. There's no incentive. So until they make the rewards match the intensity or difficulty of the activity, then I'm going to do it. Until they do that, it's just like, they're still kind of throwing rocks against the wall and trying to not do pinnacles.
Yeah.
And we kind of need to do pinnacles. Let's just get it. We miss breakneck. We miss, all those cool little weapons that we had in each activity to make us stay in there. And that's, I think, the fundamental issue. They're still fighting themselves because they're scared of balance. Can't get them out. Can't get them out. You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like to me.
It's
But
rough.
that's the problem. Sorry, Titan, I'll give it back to you in a second. But that was the quote that I saw, and somebody posted it perfectly right before the podcast. And it was the one literally from one of the developers. And it basically says, like, hey, Recluse craps on everything in PvE. Weapon sunsetting means we can add more weapons that crap on everything, and they just eventually fall behind in power. New weapons that can crap on everything. We haven't seen those. Like, we got a tame, we got a beloved with a scarf, which some people are like, it's slightly different.
You're not feeling your Gucci, your Louis Vuitton.
Come on, it doesn't even have the LV on there. Come on, I need the LV on the scarf.
You all like the different
Need
wraps you
the
get
coach
for
circles. Come on, where we at? Like, come on.
the Gucci, the Louis
Yeah,
Vuitton, the different ones.
I don't know if you guys are big Marvel fans. I think
Oh,
both of you are. I'm
huge,
pretty
yes.
sure I see
Huge.
both of you post. It reminded me of Thor Ragnarok when he's like, they'll know who you are. And then he pulls the scarf where it goes, not like this. Now they don't. He's like, no, yeah, now you can't see my face. I'm not the beloved. I'm a Thor. I was like, oh my God.
So that's, so the Adept, and it's like, and I'm not even the ones going for it. You take the dedicated players, the Fallouts, the cool guys, the Drewskis, like, basically you can take the entire bit of, like, firing range. That whole podcast, they're, like, very top tier skilled. They break down and analyze weapons and stuff. They're all awesome. They would all kick the crap out of me in PvP, and I don't know how many of them are that I've seen videos here and there that are excited about this stuff either. And it's like, I'm out of place as not a PvP person. Havoc's over there. Don't hate my door. Dude, hate your door. But also it's like, it was basically, you could have had Beloved and it was doing the same thing. So
yeah, he riding for that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like they're worried about the power creep, but they promised with sunsetting, the power creep would have some flexibility because it would be short term. We'd get this chance to experiment with, hey, this perk's really awesome. It's going to be gone in a year. Hey, this pinnacle weapon's cool here. It's going to be gone. Like, and you got one weapon, your pursuit weapon, and we're potentially going to get a pursuit weapon every season, but does it really set itself apart at all? Does it make you, like, is there anything you can't do with probably another weapon that you can do with that one? And it doesn't seem like that anymore. The raid at least has some unique perks to it. What's up?
I know we've been in our Bungie Bash Fest.
Believe me, that's why I knew this was coming.
I had to say this because, all right, I'm gonna be real with you. I know this is a very unpopular opinion what I'm about to say.
Go for it.
And for me, right, I know everybody's pissed right now. We're gonna get into all the other stuff that people rightfully pissed. For me, again, came back, I was on PC, I came to Xbox, Game Pass, tons of people coming to me, wanting the Sherpa. Shout out for Back for Dead who's in here. He's a big Sherpa in the clan, So I've been playing a lot of this raid. The raid has really rejuvenated and kept my love of the game because it's so good, and the reward systems and the way that you get the spoils of war, and then you got Eyes of Tomorrow and all that other stuff. So I just want to give them credit on the raid because I feel the raid perks and the augments are really well done. They are specific to activities, which I always wanted. They've got some things that stack. It's a really fun raid to run. That's all I wanted to get
It's
off.
top 3 for me all time.
Yo, bro, I'm debating it now in my head. I'm close to you, Titan. I'm close. It's definitely top 5. It is up there. Like, there's no question. I probably got one little mini nitpicks because remember now we comparing greatness. Greatness to greatness. You know what I'm saying? It's great. We know it's great, right? So I got a shot. The raid weapons, amazing. Heritage, Trusty, the hand cannon. Yo, the raid, I gotta give them. Maybe all the resources went to the raid because the raid is popping. Like, I haven't raided this much since Last Wish. Like, I really raiding out here. You know what I'm saying? So I just I gotta give them that. It is such a fun raid, and everyone's, continuing to do it. As Tomorrow is what it is. But Yeah, that was pretty much. I just wanted to get that
Yeah,
off.
I think most people agree with you on that as
Yeah.
well. DMG Dylan
Mhm.
posted something a while back.
What did he say?
I think it was last week.
Yeah.
He said, "What's been your favorite part of this season?" And one person, I think I saw one person post, "Can I say the raid is part of my favorite thing this season?" And he was like, "Yeah, I mean, well, it launched kind of alongside the season." And then thousands of other comments came through, rolling the raid, the raid, the raid, the raid, the raid, the raid, like just relentlessly. I think I went through there and I saw that comment so overly, so I can't remember a single other thing I saw.
Like everybody
I was
agreed
like,
on one thing in the
yeah,
community. And you're like,
almost
we agreed.
every single person unanimously agreed that that raid was great. And it is. It's great.
is.
Even the aesthetic, man. You can't tell me those guns aren't some of the
Oh,
sexiest guns in the game.
bro.
They
They look
take
like-
shaders better than anything I've ever seen.
They got the little LEDs. They got almost like an Apple like feel to them joints is fire, bro. Even the arm, like I can't believe it's pretty much everything I like. They answered my Wrath of the Machine or issue either, because I've always said, give me incentive to keep running this. Now you got my Sports War. Now you get the chest. You can pick.
Yep.
Okay, I didn't get this. I didn't get that. Like it's a lot going on, and they really nailed that. You know what I'm saying? Now, season stuff.
And that's the sad thing is like, how much was Beyond Light if you bought it on your own? 40? The season was 10. The season this time, if you didn't buy the expansion pass, the season didn't come with Beyond Light. That season was truly separate if you didn't buy the whatever.
Deluxe.
Deluxe, yeah. If you didn't buy
bad
Deluxe.
Bad Bungie on No Time to Explain, where mad people can't get it if you didn't pre-order a specific way or a deluxe version. Like, there's no way to get it, I heard, if you don't. Yeah,
you had to have gotten the deluxe, to get No Time.
Yeah. There's people that telling me, yo, I never got. How did you get that? And I'm like, yo, I got it regular, thinking that was just a normal thing. A lot of people don't have No Time to Explain.
I did not know that.
Yes. It is some real, I don't say pay to win, but it's shiesty, man.
It's the best. It is arguably, objectively, the best pulse in the game right now. Even from like a TTK standpoint, it beats out pulses in its archetype.
Oh.
So that's something. So y'all know, Zoe got me. She got me going on the PC.
Titan, did you see what clip I just put up with it?
I saw it,
bro. I never got that joint when you never die before. Shaq's going on.
Yeah,
like I never got that before.
The ghost or whatever.
No, not the ghost. The
7 kills without dying.
No, he got we ran.
Oh damn!
Yeah,
I didn't even realize. I was like, let me try it. Now, you know what? Because I think the match before I was getting killed by it. Because usually I'm a vigilance guy.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I keep losing to this one dude. He got No Time to Explain. You know what? Let me dust it off for PvP. Because I honestly thought it wasn't going to be good. Because I thought I wasn't going to be able to proc the little ghost guy. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, by the way, that's easy to proc in PvP. But anyway.
2 burst headshot.
Boom, you in the business. You already know the deal. So I jumped in there and I'm like, oh my God, they let me get away with this? I was like, this is the new. Like, I'm not coming off of this. It's that beast. It's basically cold denial with better accuracy, more range, and it's a lot of people do not have it, bro. It's crazy what you're able to do. But sorry for the tangent. I had to.
That's honestly one I didn't realize.
Also, Cognito stacks with Arc Soul. Just throwing that out there.
I'm tempted to be so toxic and
getaway artist, bro.
Run tickle fingers with the arm. What's that arm? Getaway artist.
Getaway artist.
And just really and go high
just
discipline and just
you look at somebody and they're gone, man.
Yeah, it's
rough.
Disgusting. Like that might be my real sweaty trial build to be annoying. Like, ooh, yeah, I know. I was thinking, I was like, I just can't be that toxic just yet. But maybe under the right circumstances, push me. I might go.
So speaking of
going to take a ride on the dark side.
I was just saying, speaking of PvP and balance and all that fun stuff, how do you PvP heavy people feel about Stasis? And I know we got some changes coming, but how has Stasis been treating you guys in the world of the Crucible? Huh? Titan first. How's Stasis Crucible feel for you? Good, bad, hate it, love it?
I would tell you, but I got frozen 30 seconds ago. I gotta hold the button down and break out of this real quick. Give me a sec.
Be like, hold on, I'm frozen. Okay, talk.
Stasis. You guys had Nomad on a while back.
Yep.
And I know Nomad pretty well. It's like you said earlier, and he has echoed it a lot throughout his Twitter, he's constantly talking about it on YouTube. One of his best videos I think he ever did, he ran a trials card with patty cakes and cami cakes.
Oh God, that's not fair.
Very high level players. And he's a very, very good player. I don't think he gives himself enough credit, but he's really good at the game. He understands the mechanics, and one of the things he said is that he was slow to the fight in almost every engagement.
I remember that video. Yep, I remember that video.
And that the biggest difference pre-stasis, it still is one of the top pillars of what makes someone good in PvP is movement.
Yes.
That you take a brand new player and put up against somebody else, and there's nothing they'll be able to do. No chance. So it seems like the only natural progression for Destiny as far as what else you could introduce is something that's going to counter that. And we got crowd control, which in its current iteration doesn't feel incredible. Initially out of the gate, I knew going into it, they had everything overtuned and they were going to let it be the Wild West for a month. And they did.
Yeah.
Yep. We all knew that's how they would do it. And they said, we reined in Warlocks right out of the gate. It's the fastest we've ever responded. I'm like, man, y'all had them changes done 4 months ahead of time. Don't try and tell me that you didn't already know this was going to be a little problematic. I'm glad y'all did it. I'm glad y'all let him go out there and slap for a while. But I figured before Beyond Light that supers would be the primary source by which you're completely immobilized, and everything else would be a disorient, something to that degree.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it's really just not that. You toss a grenade, you could pull somebody 8 miles out from behind a corner and freeze the whole group.
That's crazy.
The pull on that is insane.
I like what Fallout say. You hide behind that wall, doesn't matter. Get sucked, bro.
Glacial grenades. How many times you been glacier shattered dive?
Oh, yeah.
I had too many to count. Like that, where they just, we just heard this twop, they're going to rein that one in. And I think we all knew that was going to happen. Yeah. I think even a lot of the top players across the board, I haven't seen one person say, this is ridiculous. It's fine. We all know that it's ridiculous. Yeah. If you're just naive, if you're saying that wasn't real. I've wiped whole teams at the start of the game. If you spawn on Twilight Gap and you're a hunter and you run 100 mobility, you can run right through the middle, throw a grenade, shatter dive, get 6 kills if none of them ran. Man, it's nasty. And the first time I did it, I literally stood there and said, "This is not okay." Like, what?
You're like, I enjoy
good.
That.
What just happened?
With Shay Bender, when it first, I was like, they let me do all this.
Holy crap! And then that's the thing is like that drives into separating of sandboxes because they nerfed your melee into the ever-loving ground. They gave it a little love back, a little back. But is it back where it was originally for you though?
No, it's good. It's good. I mean, it's like 80% back. It's just maybe a slight little range chop off, but before it was
not bad.
Yeah, it's not
that freeze, like the
melee freeze
immobilization. Yeah, it just initially my first thought, like right when I logged onto my Warlock and I finished that campaign, because I play all 3 classes, even like PvP, I love Warlock mobility. Top Tree Dawn, nice. Nothing feels as good as that. When you juke somebody and just blast them, then drop a dab on them when you finish, it's game over, man. There's just no coming back from that. But yeah. Right when it launched, I was like, all right, I got a build that's 100 strength. I got double melee induction on the bond. I got Claws of Ahamkar on, so I got 2 freezes. I'm rocking Monte Carlo. I'm rocking the mod where if I'm charged with light, I get half my melee back. I was like, let's see, because I used to do that with Top Tree Dawn, so you could get the double throw on the fireballs. And a lot of people don't expect it. It's a great, one of the best range moves in PvP.
Actually.
and it just, I think I had like a 52-0 game at the first. Just I was like, this is not. What is happening? Like, this is not okay. Pre-fired around the corner. It even tracks a little bit. Like,
a little bit too.
I was just, and I had my melee damn near the entire game. Almost the whole time. I think I shot my Monte Carlo like 6 times. Mostly once or twice it was because there was a dude around a corner who was afraid to come by, and I was like, hey, come over here. I'm out here. Like, come shoot the guy in the dress. I'm in the middle. Shoot at me. And just, I was like, man, this is not good. Like, Trials, I knew immediately because we were going to talk about it in Trials. It's like, it's such a hard counter, and the complete immobilization of another player in any game that you're playing is never going to feel great. You're just, even if your positioning was arguably bad to some degree, you at least got a shot. If you slide under somebody, you outmaneuver them a little bit. You slide around a corner and get frozen, and a warlock dabs, and then he shoots you in the face with a shotgun. You're like, well, I'm going to Alt F4 that one and go have a good cry. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And it changed the sandbox so dramatically in such a short window of time that we saw the uproar.
Yep.
I mean, both of you guys, like you said, you're not super PvP, but I'm sure your Twitter just had to be.
Oh, I mean,
I follow, man, this is depressing.
I follow as much of the Destiny community as I know exists, usually, because I try and look at as many people out there as I can, follow them. You never know. Of course, podcast guests, all that stuff. Man, my Twitter feed was rough for a little while there, and I was just like, holy, everyone. I mean, there was because I'm trying to remember who was on the podcast, because it was the filler. So you got Maru and Nagi, and then you had Tassie, Tony, Ill Physics, who we'll get on here a little bit later. Nomad was on there, and then you had Hoplite. So a couple PvP, a couple PvE guys, and they were talking about just the state of things. It was a great listen between like where things are at and Stasis and just like PvE. And that just builds into more of like, they were talking about the neglect of PvP. Like, we're at a point to where now, I mean, it's just becoming more and more apparent of the little love that PvP has right now. Not one Crucible map. Period. Like,
travesty.
Yeah, and just like even Shaxx now getting a couple other things, and we'll talk about some of the rewards that are coming, but that was the whole PvE versus PvP. Some people are like, oh, it's a PvE game, and it's like, it's PvE. I mean, yeah, there's a good PvE side to it, but I can tell you the longevity of the game usually survives on the PvP, because that's the repeatable, because PvP is always something different. You can learn mechanics, you can do raids over and over, you can Sherpa people if that's what you love to do, but for a lot of people, the variety comes in PvP, and to completely disregard that is not smart, because it is, Trials is what kept this thing alive in Destiny 1 for one of the first times during some of the droughts. Like, PvP has to be there. Now, granted, do I wish there were 2 separate sandboxes? Yes. I still wish that was a thing. But I was just going to say, and then Stasis, and it's just the community over the course of like the neglect in PvP, because I mean, the whole Twitter thing, it was like, you remember Tassie saying, I do not feel valued as a PvP player, and he wrote that like 5 times.
Yeah,
that was what did it, and then Tassie was like, hey, this is kind of a thing. He's like, and I don't know if this is the right way to say it. Tassie just didn't know, and he's like, hey, I was just wrong. I didn't know who it was. And this is like Tony Ill Physics is basically like, he gives some of the most constructive and has for years. And he's like, finally, it's just like, it's been years, and I just don't feel like I'm being heard.
Yeah, that one touched me, bro. Like that one. Who was it that also left that PvP main?
MTash, man.
Hush.
Yeah,
Hush.
MTash just did this week. Hush was was right around that time. MTash was
the Hush one
2 days ago.
Listen, man, I love even in all the Stasis foolishness, I'll still find a way to get some level of enjoyment when I do my pinnacles, or sometimes I stay in the comp a little extra when I'm in there. I'm having some fun and testing stuff out. But yeah, we're just undervalued, man, and it's time. I know we're gonna get to this twab, but we're gonna talk about the comments they made there, but I can't get mad at those people who say, yo, enough is enough. I don't care about what I like. I mean, even though we had Vixen on. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like
Vixen
Scream Queens
Epoxy.
and
Yeah.
yeah, like Scream Queens, and that's what they do. And it's like, you know, I try to be understanding and respectful for a team or studio, based on resources and all that, right? I really do. But again, when we get statements like renewed focus on PvP, when we get statements like Charles is back, and and then you get these results and you don't feel valued, and we get it. We understand the majority of the community is playing PvE. We understand that. But it is so lacking. It is such a disparity that I really feel for content creators that that's their main focus because they have been like neglected children out here. And I really hope Bungie, because we're going to get to this. I got some stuff to say about what to say about PvP here.
Yep.
I'm holding it. But yeah, it's going to be a reckoning. People, the intensity level is high. You know what I'm saying? The tolerance level is low.
Yeah. So that kind of basically wraps us into, kind of what's been happening over the course of the past few weeks. Bungie had been quiet. There was supposed to be a TWAB last week. That got delayed. Probably still absorbing feedback, trying to get their hands wrapped around what they're going to say. They literally have stated there's 4 TWABs. They have probably planned out the topics they're going to cover in these next 4 weeks. And the first one started. Now, the order that I want to cover this TWAB with you guys is as positive as I can first to where obviously the big debate's going to be. I literally recorded about a 30-minute video about the TWAB because I looked at it on stream live. Some of my chat was in there. And I just literally went down the line. And I re-recorded it later. And I went positive first, medium to negative. Because I was like, I don't want to start the negative because the rest is not going to get listened to. You got to start with something good. So I'm going to jump order around the TWAB a little bit. The main topics that they wanted to cover on this one, there's going to be 3 more before the next season of stuff. They said changes to vendors. They said sandbox tuning for Hunter, and Titan's next on the chopping block, by the way, so don't get too worried. You Hunter people that are scared, trust me, Titan's just going to be the next one up.
Can I make a note, though? Why is always a delay with nerfing y'all? Oh, let's let them rock. Let's let them. It's always a damn delay. Cactus, you listened. I had you on the show. You damn Titans. Every time y'all get another free week to play around the playground, I will say, OP. As soon as the Warlock, bad Warlock, nerf shade big.
Which one's usually the biggest offender first? Not always, but which one was the biggest offender in Stasis?
No!
In Stasis. No, it was not.
The Hunter right now. We
was
first.
It started with Warlock. They hit you quick.
Bad.
Yeah.
We was bad.
And then now Shatter Dive is next. So they're going this time. But I'm saying all the time, no. This time Stasis was...
They need more data to determine...
Oh, no, they don't.
How?
No, they don't.
That damn super that go around the map and last so damn...
Yeah, Behemoth lasts for about 6 years, and that's fine. Yeah, believe me, it's like, that's what I'm saying. Titans, don't get comfortable. You're going to come as quickly as they can get to their data. So, and by the way, Buncher, if you're watching me when I say data, I'm not trying to offend you. It just takes a while when you guys probably have gut decisions, and I wish sometimes, granted, their gut decisions might be extreme, but sometimes I wish they would be like, hey, we think it could be this. Let us throw like a part of the nerf or part of the change out there. Let us keep testing and then we'll do a second one. I wish they would do something like that, even to some platforms. Faster updates to be like, hey, this is way out of whack. Let's go a little bit, see how it feels. Nerf some things a little bit, as opposed to do all the data, knock it way down, and then bring it back up even later. Like, that doesn't... They spin very...
They get slaughtered in the tabloids, man. You know they would. Oh, Bungie puts out a half nerf, a half buff, a half patch. Man, they just need some test servers. That's what they need. Roll that out quietly. Let some people check it out, see how it's going.
Crucible Labs.
Alongside the launch. Yeah, something.
How does Crucible Labs not have another sandbox to be like, hey, you go in here, this is the stuff we're thinking about. How does it feel? I feel like that wouldn't be that difficult. Anyway, so first thing I want to talk about is the update to vendors. They're focusing on a lot with Shacks, and then Drifter's going to get some of this. So they said first they're going to be adding 2 new unique weapon rewards to each of the 3 playlist rituals, so 6 total. These weapons are in addition to the ones in the Season of the Hunt and probably in the World Loot Pool. So just to see if I'm reading that right, I want to see what you guys say. Say the World Loot Pool is like those 30 weapons we had in the World Loot Pool. If you go into Crucible, it's 30 plus the 2 Crucible unique ones. Is that how you guys read that?
I'm not sure. I mean, when they say pursuit weapons, pursuit means, something that you're going to aspire to go get, something you're going to try and go get. Like, I'm not sure if they mean it's going to be kind of like a ritual.
They don't say
or
pursuit though. They
It'll
just say
probably be
two new
called the front cold and have a fly dragon perk on it, and it may have a scarf on it. I'm not sure. That sounds like it could be something.
Oh man.
I'm not sure. I really hope it is something that drops more frequently. Like a lot of the pass weapons that you
Yeah.
hit a certain point on the season pass to start dropping in the playlist, and you see it fairly frequently. I'd be cool with something like that, provided the roles are interesting. There's a lot of good options there. It has to be worth my time. Because if I'm playing PvP, I'm going to get a million of them passively. But I'm not going to go do 1,000 strikes when I don't enjoy doing them if there's no reward there for me. Like, you can mindlessly grind strikes all day. I just personally don't find it extremely engaging after the first 5 or so runs on one. You hear everything you need to hear, all the dialogue, you do everything you need to do, you get to the boss, melt them in half a second, and you're done. If I'm going to grind hundreds, thousands of those, if there's a gun that I'm like, this is the role I have got to have. This is the one I'm chasing. If it's there, I'll go for it. If it's there in Gambit, I'll go for it. Destiny players are ravenous. If you give us something to chase, I will move heaven and earth to go get it. 110%. We are very dedicated. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but by God, we're doing it either way. With that, if it's in a loot pool with 30 other guns and I just get the short end of the stick with RNG and I see one of them in 50 Crucible games and it comes with hip fire grip, I'm chucking the controller across the room. I'm out.
Get your controller ready.
You need to pad that room. Pad that room, man.
Get it ready, because I think it's that. Ruku, I think he's on to something. I think it's going to be how it is now when we play Crucible and that Stars in Shadow drop. You know what I'm saying? And, crowd pleaser drop when you play Gambit. Like, yes, I think that's exactly what they're doing. It's going to be that activity weapon that only pretty much drops there. Continue.
No, I was just going to say,
Stars is a great pulse.
Yeah,
it's got good perks.
It is.
Xeno's a good shotty, but they're not interesting.
Yeah. I was like, I think it was DCP. I was trying to catch up on what everybody was saying for the Zeitgeist feel. And so the way they read is like, it says 2 new unique weapons, but I don't even know if they knew it was new. It's like, if just 2 unique weapons are the 2 more reissues coming in, and it's just going to be a couple other things we've seen before, but you only get them in Crucible. It's like, if it's just that, people are going to lose it. If you're like, oh, I can only get Crucible. All I can tell all of you right now, when Go Figure is reissued, I'm going to throw a fit. 100%.
Your dad bod returns. What the Your dad bod gun. You ain't gonna be happy to see it again after you had that god roll.
40. I had 2 god rolls. One had 40,000 kills. That I use that if when that happens, and I say when because sadly now I expect it, and we'll get to why. If I see that thing come back as like a strike grind, I'm just gonna be like, what the?
Yo, Ruku said Edge Transit. I'm dead.
Edge Transit. Oh no, I don't know if they could do that. The community might just like shut it down.
Yeah, they just call it the Transit Edge and throw a scarf on it.
Hey, here you go.
That was good.
So we got unique. There's apparently a couple unique weapons in the playlist, but it's to my guess, and I could be wrong, but my assumption is you have the world loot pool for these things, much less 3 blue drops every time that nobody wants. That's probably going to be a mix of all of that, and then you add RNG on top. I don't know how many of these we're going to see, so that's one. We'll just have to see how that plays out. Second, starting in Season 13 for Gambit and Crucible, and in a future season Strikes, which seems like it's going to take a little bit more of a rehash, rank rewards will be visible at the ritual vendor. Each season you'll be greeted by a row of rewards, progression towards which will be earned automatically as a complete relevant playlist, like Valor, for example. Instead of having rank rewards dropped automatically in your loot stream, they will now be picked up as manually from the vendor list. We feel this gives much better visibility into what you'll be earning as you progress and helps you make better choices about where to spend your time. Now, the rewards, now if you guys watch Descendant Nomads, like how to rehash PvP, a lot of this is right here. So believe me, this is looking very familiar. So they said the rewards for each level: rank 4, 3 upgrade modules; rank 7, 3 enhancement cores; rank 10, first time it's a shader. If you reset your Valor, the next time and any time after that, it's 3 enhancement cores. Rank 13, 2 prisms. Rank 16, an emblem. And then again, on future resets, it's 2 prisms. The first time you reset, it's a shard. Anytime after that, it's an exotic. My biggest issue is the last one, and I'll get back to that, but I'll save my thoughts. So again, if you go scroll down, they'll show you a look of what it looks like once you've reset. You'll see you'll see upgrade modules, cores, prisms, exotic. That being said, your Crucible tokens are useless after this season. So if you have 5,000 or more like I do, or however many you guys have, turn them in now, because they are going to be utterly useless. So at least get your legendaries, whatever you can get from them now, because they are going to serve you 0 good. They will be junk come season 13. So if you hear this now, turn them in now, use them up. That being said, thoughts about this whole change to the Valor ranks is the main place you're probably going to see this. Infamy will probably work in a similar fashion. Guest
It's
gets the
nice. Any avenue that we've got to get more of anything is a positive. All I'm thinking is more cores, more prism, more shards. What am I going to spend them on? Where I've got armors that's going to be sunset that's God rolled. I got so I don't really have. You can get cores are a dime a dozen. They're dropping from package rank ups and turn ins and all that stuff nowadays. I got like 900 and something cores. I think I'm good there. Like,
Yep.
For the average player, that could be pretty good because it's going to give them another avenue for that. But man, if you gave me the opportunity to get a 60 plus stat roll on rank 10, guaranteed, and I could pick the slot, I'm in. If I have to reset and grind another 20 levels to get a guaranteed high stat roll piece or a great gun or one of those ritual pursuit weapons, then I'm there. If giving us more materials when there's a lack of loot, just all I'm doing is building up for what? Can't wait till Witch Queen gets here. I'm going to have so many shards and prisms.
Your shard game is high? Question. How's your shard? I'm pocket watching. How's your shard game?
Oh yeah, now they're now. I mean, after you have any idea how many tokens I turned in? How many legendaries I got to break down?
Talk to us.
Oh, now we're doing good. I think I'm sitting at like 5,000 or 6,000. I started with almost nothing at the beginning of the season.
Jeez.
It's not bad for yeah. It's been a quick climb to the mountain, but. And just like, what am I going to spend it on? What do I have that I need all of those materials for?
Right.
Cognito, thoughts?
I wish I was blessed as Titan, because I am golf ball deficient. I'll be thirst for that. Like I get happy when it's a double Nightfall reward or something like that. I get excited. Look, I mean, I ain't gonna get too crazy. I like it. I mean, obviously, I think there's a secret hidden developer reason for my tinfoil on with this one.
Go nuts.
I think because wasn't tokens, let's be real, wasn't tokens the old hustle before the new expansion come out?
Oh, for leveling up?
Yeah, like
that was filling leveling gaps.
Yeah, this daddy budget, we gonna get that out.
I mean, they told us they were trying to fixed it.
Yeah, they did fix it.
They did already. Yeah,
they did fix it. They did fix it. All I'm saying is, for me, with this, actually, I'm okay. I didn't go crazy. I wasn't like, oh, this is terrible, whatever. They're trying to streamline stuff. They're trying to give you reward stuff. Again, for I know my man over here, he caked out with the shards, but for the rest of the world, I ain't that. You know what I'm saying? I'm the dude that I do kind of, exotic. I mean, I'll like to any exotic that I use like religiously. I mean, shout out to my bug eyes, warlock bug eye joint. You know what I'm saying? Dawn chorus, my necrotic grips. Things like that. Anything that I use religiously, I feel I have to masterwork, especially if the stat roll is pretty solid. So that's where my materials go to. my favorite, right? My Phoenix Protocol, my Luna Factions, anything that I feel is essential. I want maximum stat ability. So that's why my Prisoners of Shards have been going when I finally do get a good roll. So for me, and again, I missed the upgrade module.
Oh, I know you're broke all the time. Yeah. This man runs out of upgrade. This man's like 1151. Got to upgrade every piece of gear I got. 1152. Do it again.
Because I got like builds and I got for each subclass.
I'm like, you're doing this while you level. You'll be middle of the story campaign. Hold on, I just blew up my upgrade module.
I used to do that.
Exactly.
I listened to you. I used to do that. I was guilty. I was guilty.
What are you? Just wait. Like shit. It doesn't matter what you look like.
You know what saved me? Ornaments. I said, all right, I can put on an ornament. Make this Walmart.
He's worried as he progresses through the campaign that he's like, I don't look great. I'm like, dude, just wait till you level up.
I gotta be fly every time. Like I can't
Your
be
drip can wait. 100%.
Luckily, ornaments saved me and my resources from that. So I've stopped
I respect
that.
You live by the sauce, die by the sauce.
Exactly. Yeah. I gotta be nice with it. But all jokes aside, I stopped that. But for me, this is cool. The shard. Now this is where I'm with E. Where I didn't like everything I'm cool with. What I don't like is why are you changing the shard to an exotic? Why is this a problem to keep giving us a shard if we have the dedication to keep playing it?
You're stealing my one main point.
Oh, my fault. No. I mean, you never talk.
Oh, no, 100%. This was my big thing in my videos. Like, hey, getting shaders, getting cores. Like, once you get the shader and the emblem, you're getting more of those. Cool. You give them one golf ball, and then you're going exotic engrams, which does two things. If you're going to spend the time in Crucible to get the legend, you are not going to break the economy because the people who really want golf balls, Grandmaster Nightfalls, are throwing them at you. You should get an Ascendant Shard every single time because the amount of time it takes you to go from 0 to 2,000 is long enough.
Right.
Is in an insanely much longer time period than anybody who goes around a Grandmaster or even just a Master with people who they know. The people who want upgrade modules and can do it in groups are going to be just fine to go get as many as they want and just fill up every character. Like the Zoes, the OBK cats will have 3 characters, Postmasters. They'll have 40 available at any point in time because they're stacked. Yeah. The guy, the one guy, like, I just want to play Crucible. I want to go through the playlist and reset over and over and be they can start getting those shards if they want to play the game that way.
And that goes back to my PvP argument. Well, where's the love? Like, PvE has all these great sources, double Nightfall rewards and this and that, and you're getting shards and shower. If you're a Crucible guy, you're not really getting it. And a lot of guys, let's be real, they're not doing trials like that. You know what I'm saying? To be getting that. And I don't even know the drop rate on the shard. So people got to tell me who's going to the lighthouse in here. How many shards are they giving you? Because
I don't even know.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's a hard thing.
One, maybe 2, and that's if you go flawless all the way through. Like, so you're not doing 30 flawless runs in a weekend. It's just not happening.
Where is the PvP equivalent? Why are they being penalized for dedicating to this?
Go play Nightfalls.
Exactly.
That's what they're telling you, unfortunately. The other side to this that almost annoys me more, and I've been on this stupid train forever, the fact that you're like, hey, after you do that, they are exotics are not exotic anymore. They're not.
I'm with you.
I was like, now they have special unique traits and stuff like that, but I was like, we are showered in so many places now.
Oh yeah, we showered.
Like, exotics used to be rare, and now that they're like, hey, you get 1 golf ball, but we'll give you all the exotic engrams that you can take. And like, there's a point where, that was the other side of it. But I was like, the shard should have just leave it. I was like, if you can just take that line, change the exotic engram after you just delete that, and I'm kind of cool.
I'm good.
And I'm kind of cool with what they did. Like, that gives the solo grinder who wants this to sit there and, hey, be like, I'm just sitting there, I'm going through Netflix shows, grinding out me some Crucible, cool. Got another reset, got a golf ball, cool. That gives somebody like that a chance to have a fully masterwork set of armor if they want to, because...
Think about when you're playing Banner, too. You know, get a good group together. Everybody have a little fun, got a little six squad doing it up. You know, sometimes you get fun. You have fun that way, and it's just like, I don't understand the logic that we after that one reset, no more for you. That's it. You've had your fill.
Yeah, PvP guy. Yeah, and it's just like, and somebody in chat was like, well, what if on a high valor weekend? I'm like, God forbid you actually reward your players for spending time in the weekend that you just advertised. Hey, look at this crazy double and triple valor. You might have a very full playlist if that actually happens then. What's wrong with that? Nothing.
I'm with you. I'm with you, brother.
So I like, that's what a lot of people on PvP were like, it's a step in the right direction,
Right.
but that's it. It's the start of a step.
Yeah, it's a start.
But I was like, but overall, I don't hate it. Couple things I would tweak, but I like it's a beginning. So, Titan, any more thoughts? Since obviously we both went off the rails a bit there.
Yeah, I mean, it's what you guys are saying is just, it's the sentiment that I feel every PvP player needs. And even though we say things constantly in Destiny, like the majority of people are playing PvE. Well, what do you think the reason for that is? It's because that's where they're getting everything. They're going to PvP and get smacked and get nothing for it. Like, man, it sucks. I'm gonna go do patrols. Like it just, y'all have got to keep the changes coming. Give people a reason to jump into not just the base level of PvP, but from the bottom to the very tippy top. Give them something that they need, that they'll split their time there for, and you'll have more active players and more community interaction than you've ever had in Destiny. Period.
Preach it, brother. Preach it.
So that's piece 1 of Zitwab. Number 2, the changes to hunters. They are under the refinement for their stasis subclass. Now, before I get into this, I want you guys to pay attention to the numbers and the percent change in some of these numbers to feel, hey, this is totally how it should have been coming out of the gate. So, some of you guys know what I mean already. So the short-term goal of the changes to hunters are to address the outlier stasis abilities to keep subclass decision-making interesting. They want to reduce the potency of Shatter Dive plus Whisper Fissures against Guardians, which is good. They're making that switch to Guardians only. That's a good thing. Going live, it's actually on Tuesday, so the 19th of January. Shatter Dive now has damage falloff versus unfrozen targets. Okay. Max range damage reduced from 50 to 5. It's literally 1/10. That's not a drastic fix or anything. These are the numbers I'm talking about, so we'll keep them going. Damage reduction during ability reduced from 50% to 25%. Literally cut that in half. Whisper of Fissures, reduce the min-max. Now, basically, the way this reads, in case you're wondering or in audio and haven't read this thing yet, they're going to give the maximum amount of damage with a range to the minimum amount of damage, and that's how these are going to read. So, against non-super players, it was a max of 42, minimum of 22. They're taking it from a max of 30 to a minimum of 4. So they're lowering that floor a ton. Same thing, max to min damage versus supers was exactly the same, which is a problem, and they're reducing that to 16 to 2. Again, we're talking about a 10th of what it was. Reduced detonation radius from players from 10 to 9 meters. Doesn't seem to do it much. The whole combination seems to be reining stuff in quite a bit, but I just find it funny on some of these, the scale of change. Like, we're talking like 1,000% change. Not like, we give it a little, we're definitely not in the Bungie days of, hey, your auto rifles from 20.1 to 20.2. We're in the exact opposite and very drastic changes, but that also makes you wonder how unbalanced it was.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody in the PvP community that thought that this is fine. Like, y'all see what I just posted in chat? Oh, yeah, this is great. Everything's cool. I love getting Shattered Eye from 30 meters away. Like, it just, the fact that you could annihilate whole teams, or that you didn't even have to freeze your target. I could throw it where I knew someone was going to be in the remote vicinity of and Shatter Dive and still get the kill. If not kill them outright, have them so weak, I get to smile at them and they fall over. I mean, it's just, it was ridiculous. And I mean, and the ease of use, throw, slant, like there's zero downtime. I'm not sure one of those in there, they talked about the damage reduction that you have was 50% when you're shatter diving. 50%. I don't know if you guys saw, I forgot who put the video out. Man, I think Cool Guy talked about it on Twitter the other day. Somebody made a video. You could survive a direct hit from a Dawn Blade if you shatter dived the moment you were hit because you took 50% less damage. That is outrageous. There's nothing you should do outside of another super that should be able to just outright survive the strongest. Like, it's just ridiculous, man. I think it was definitely well warranted. Titans, we're next on the chopping block.
Oh, 100%.
It's rightly deserved too.
I was gonna say, give me just 1 second. I'm gonna switch Discord servers just to see if I can even us out here.
No worries.
Yeah.
Cool. Try to. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. It just it's like I said, yeah, they launch stuff for new DLCs overtuned, and they mentioned that in one of the TWABs. They said we would prefer to go guns blazing out of the gate and have things get reined in than have you guys start and going, well, this is whack. You know, these imagine popping your super and just having nothing to show for it. In PvP, even PvE, you would feel like, well, Stasis was dead on arrival, and it's always better to have something reined in than it is to get buffed from nothing. Because if it launches terrible, especially with how important it was, not from a community side of things, but also a business side of things for Bungie, launching this again with Beyond Light and the whole, you know, the next to it, they talked about Shadow, or not Shadowkeep, the Witch Queen, that all the DLCs coming out, they had to hit something on this one. And I feel like a lot of people initially had a lot of positive to say about Stasis, specifically in PvE, and it hit the ground running. People loved the abilities, feel great. The sound design of Stasis, out of this world. That Shadebinder has one of the most unique sounds. I hear that, and almost like the after effects when you cast it, it's like sound echoing through a glacier. Like it's ridiculous. It's so
Great
good.
sound.
I hear that in PvP, and I know immediately, all right, here's what I got to deal with. But it's good they had to rein that in because it became so popular. The Drewski Dunk, the Winnipeg Wombo, I mean, it got named everything, man. It just exploded, literally, and was wiping Guardians left and right, man. It's rough. It's really rough out there in PvP.
Look, man, my man Titan hit up all the major points. You know, we knew it was coming, you know, but I think you nailed it. I think the best point you said was that vintage Bungie, right? How many we've sat here when we first saw the trailer of Stasis.
Yeah.
Me and you sat here and said, man, that looked like it's gonna be busted.
Oh yeah. I think everybody did, and then it lived up to it.
Every subsequent last word goes, hey, how you feel about the trailer? How you feel about that? Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. And then we were debating the freeze, how long it's gonna be, who gets credit for the kill.
Yeah, were you actually dead once you were frozen? All these debates is what was gonna happen. And
shout out to Bi-Fi, all of them. You know, and we sat there, we saw it, we were like, yeah, this gonna be busted. So I mean, it's like Titan said, vintage Bungie. Throw it out there, overtuned, let it sit, get the data, let us complain. Then they come back, and now they're doing a rein-in thing. You know what I'm saying? My only thing now is, which I know we're going to touch on, it's one thing to rein in, but I'm not going to spoil too much, but we got to bring others up. And we got to do, because right now, it just feels for the most. I mean, the Hunter thing was crazy. I was scared to death. Running around doing all that stuff. Yeah. It was you ain't beating that. You know what I mean? So that had to get addressed. I know we had to get y'all coming soon. My main thing is just the length of y'all thing. It's just ridiculous. That thing lasts so crazy. Yeah. But, you know, we get it. My main thing now is, okay, what are we gonna do with everything else? And I still struggle with the hold down something to bust out. You know what I'm saying? I got Stasis. You know, hold down this, but, and I don't know, maybe it's me. Let me ask you this, Titan. Like, are you breaking out? I feel like I hit someone, they break out quick, but mine's is always a struggle to bust out. I don't know. Like,
it's different on what you're hit by. I mean,
true
that's
too.
if you hit by a super, it takes longer. If you hit by
Right.
the Warlock melee ability, now it's like a second and a half or
And a
less.
half.
I think 1.2.
Right.
Initially, that was super confusing to me. I was like I'm holding to pop my barricade basically and use that whole aspect of it. I feel like as soon as it hits, you should maybe a timer starts and it auto busts you out of there. And the damage that you took, they tuned that too. 'Cause
Yeah.
used to be when you broke out, you were dust.
You were dead.
You had
Pretty much.
no health. You even if you ran 100 resilience as a Titan, you had like less than half. It was just ridiculous, man. It's just in most cases in PvP, if you get frozen, you're dead.
Yes.
It's very rare that I get frozen, break out, kill my opponent. Usually it's if they're trying to emote on me, and there's really nothing as satisfying as that. You get somebody freeze you, you pop out, you smile and shotgun it. Like, man, that's just that's they quit the game moment right there. Let's move on and go back to Fortnite. Never play Destiny again kind of moment.
Like, oops, mistakes were made.
Yeah, the last point I'll make is I really want to get to the next couple of bullet points because to me, it's more of I'm not so anti-stasis as everyone else. I still think there needs to be tweaks. I still think there's problems. Don't get me wrong. But to me, it's all about counters, gunplay. And I think shout out to Mercules. He has something on it too that I kind of agree with in reference to positioning, movement, stuff like that. But it's the next points that we got to get into because to me, it's the way we're set up now with, just look at that build Titan was talking about.
Utter melee Monte Carlo, just insane.
Carlo, Claws of Amakara. So he running around free central.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So literally, I think that's, to me, again, we're going to get the ability versus gunplay. I think that, to me, is more what's happening right now. I think when D2 Vanilla came out, it was like gunplay, rarely get abilities, right? Now it's like, we got these crazy builds now that we can just keep on flowing and keep on getting recovery, keep getting, whatever rifts or whatever it is that you're using. And I think that is a little bit more, it's less about the gunplay lately, in my opinion, and more about the abilities. You know what I'm saying?
You're going into the other points, so we can just say them.
Let's just do it. I
was like, you're just beating around the bush at this point. You may as well just chop it down.
Let's just get it.
Improve PvP subclass usage and win rate balance. Long time ago, they had graphs of like, hey, how many wins does each subclass have? And they try and keep them fairly balanced. Right now, I can tell you about, well, how many do we have now? 12? No, 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, you have 12 subclasses? Or no, whatever. You have 5 between all the characters. You have the 3 Stasis subclasses, you have Dawnblade, and you have Spectral Blades. Those are like your ones that are good. The rest of them are probably sitting in a dumpster somewhere. For your win rates for PvP, generally, that's probably how you're feeling most of the time. Some people run around goof with other stuff, sure, but especially the higher the more competitive anything gets, that's probably how that feels. They're trying to get that win rate of all subclasses are much more viable options. So they're definitely getting there. And the other one, you're definitely nailing it. They want to review our ability to gunplay balance in PvP. And I think you said like Mercules on firing range. He said it too. He's like, right now we are so far away from gunplay being the focus of the first-person shooter and it being ability play. And they say Destiny is a game about both explosive space magic moments and intrinsically satisfying gunplay. Especially in our 3v3 playlist, the usage of abilities has climbed as we introduce more and more ways to charge them quickly. We're still in a very early discussions, but we're looking to restoring a better balance where proper gunplay is rewarding. And I'll say it now, and then I'll let you guys go at it. It is a very delicate line for them to walk to not nerf ability regeneration rate into the ground, but also make guns still be a viable part of the equation of PvP. And again, you can either have next to no abilities that pop up every blue moon, which is like it felt like, as you said, the start of D2, or now you literally have them every 7 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, let me jump on this, Titan. I definitely want to get at this. Yeah, man, it's this one I do feel for them from a balance standpoint because there is a part of me that when Titan talk about that build, I'm like, man, that sounds fun as hell. like, woo, man, like you getting the melees, you doing that, like, okay. But then it's like, okay, there's another part of me that's just like, man, I'm not really there's a part of me as a PvP player. I'm gonna ask Titan this question. There's a part of me as a PvP player that, as far as why I love Destiny, right? I'm like Mr. Anti-meta for the most part. Right? I'll look at what the guns people are using. Always look at what I'm getting killed by. Right? Oh, okay, that's okay. Okay, these guys running around with this. Okay, cool. And then I always try to find a counter or something that maybe not everyone's using is good, but is either effective or a lot of people are sleeping on it, right? And I feel lately it's just been less of that. You know what I'm saying? The
Yeah.
only time I've really discovered what we just talked about earlier was the whole no time to explain. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of thing. But outside of that, it's really not about the gunplay no more, especially with Stasis. It's less about the gunplay, especially with Stasis. Now you peek around the corner, frozen, oh boy. You know what I'm saying? Like it adds a whole different dynamic. And I do feel for them in this regard. But I was curious for you, Tech, like how do you feel in reference to the gunplay, being less? Like where are you at with that? Do you prefer it? Like are you maybe you're like, yo, I'm having fun with this build. I'm liking it. Like where are you at with that whole?
Specifically this season, it stings more than ever because the guns have never been in a more balanced state. You can use any archetype. You get 120 hand cannons, slap. 140s, slap. Pulses are great. Scouts,
Yeah.
they're there.
We know those are the redheaded stepchild
you can
of
use
the
fusions
primaries.
Snipers got reined in a little bit, but they're still usable. You just have to, adjust what you're doing. Like the gunplay this season, I feel like I can grab whatever I want and succeed.
Good
anything.
point.
But most of the builds I take into PvP are ability focused. And there's 2 instances this season, and I wonder if you guys know what they are before I tell you, where they've done a good job of balancing something that's really good with the downside. You guys have any idea?
Found something that was very good.
Icehold Mantles. Bacchus, you dodge, you got a 20-second cooldown on that dodge. Even at 100 mobility, Bacchus is one of the best exotics that's ever been introduced into the game. I have broken so many people's ankles with that. That mask, it's ridiculous. Phase clean through them, turn around, headshot. Like it's nuts. And it gives you higher ability cooldown. So it gives you, there's give and take. If some of these abilities were tuned differently based on their lethality, it's like Icehold Mantles. People said these things suck, they're terrible, whatever on the Titan. Man, you can turn into a walking tank. You can take so much damage with that. You can dip out of a fight you're losing, pop them, turn the corner, win the fight. Like Cool Guy. He put out an amazing video on him and the potential of them. The outplay. You pop those, though, you get a full overshield. You get, I think it's an extra 200 health. You have a whole nother Guardian worth of health on you. But you can't slide. You can't run. Exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about, AB. Yep. Like that's such a good example of a way to do it that I don't ever feel like I'm not going to use these because of this. I'm willing to put up with that, to have Bacchus in my back pocket. And otherwise, if we still had 9-second cooldown on Hunter Dodge like we did pre Beyond Light and Bacchus, there'd be, man, it would literally be Battle of the Teleporting Hunters everywhere. Every 9 seconds, you'd have hunters teleporting all over the map. It would be ridiculous, man. There's no way. That's such a good, if they can do that with something like that, why not do it with some abilities? Have your 100% strength affect this melee by giving it a 32-second cooldown, but this melee by giving it a 60-second cooldown. Because the lethality goes up, or because you shouldn't be able to spam something.
Spam it, yeah.
I feel like the reason they haven't gone quite that route is all it's going to lead to is more of the people complaining that this class has this one has this, but just the back and forth. But I don't think that's really going anywhere. It's a very, very difficult line to tote, and Nomad Drewski, they had a video they did together where they were just talking PvP, and they talked about how Destiny is more space magic now than it is gunplay.
Yes.
And in those moments where you're using space magic, it feels incredible. I'll be completely honest with both of you. I hate the Behemoth. It's my least favorite class to play. Out of all Titan supers, I can't stand it. I'm a middle tree striker till I die. That slam, I live for it, man. You spawn on Endless Veil and you rock Syntheseps. You run to the other side, you wipe the whole team if you hit them, and they're on that point. You got just enough time. I live for those moments. Bottom tree Sunbreaker, do it all day. It actually destroys Stasis.
I love bottom tree Sunbreaker for the wells and everything.
Yeah. There's so much ability spam. It's going to be a hard. It's like both of you said. How are you going to hit it so you don't nerf abilities? We don't want to end up in D1 year one or D2 year one. We just don't. That was
awful.
Man, glad I got my heavy ammo. I can finally use my shotgun.
Oh yeah, I knew it was awful when, not to cut you, Titan, but like I knew it was awful when, as a warlock, I had to throw on, what is it? Not the helmet that helps you recharge your abilities a little faster.
Oh yeah.
Eye of whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about, the big global helmet. Yeah. I was just like, come on, man. Like, am I ever gonna get my melee up?
And that's the thing, is like, it's not Call of Duty. This is never gonna be pure gunplay. Period. And that's like, they are gonna be different games. But as you said, it's like, I don't want to wait 6 years for a melee because that's just boring. And then it's also the issue is like, is that where they steer cooldowns? Maybe PvP does lean a little more gunplay, but PvE you get more space magic. Because if you're running around a PvP strike and it takes you get one super a strike, that sucks. That's what we had when we started. Well, I get like one strike, and I'm like, no. But I was like, so that's a point where they truly do need to start splitting. Be like, hey, your cooldown in X is this, in Crucible it's 2X. Like, so there's got to be some type of balance there. And again, we're all saying, we know the job's not going to be easy to try and figure out how to do this, but it is leaning that way. Just the way a lot of Bungie course corrections, though, it can't lean all the way to one side and then be slapped all the way to the other side and over course corrected, because you can't start a take slapper and then going all the way down the road and just, no, so that's the hard part we know is going to be a thing.
I don't envy them on that. That part is difficult. I'm very curious to see what they come up with. And last point is, all these bullets is nice. When? That's because PvP now, I gotta hold their feet to the fire. I'm not trusting that we're listening with PvP. I was very patient. I've been patient for over a year. When? I need deadlines. I need a season of this is when this is coming out. Season of that is when we're gonna attack this. Like, I need some more tangible dates. If you don't want me to feel like, redheaded stepchild, you want me to feel like I'm not neglected, you gotta say it's cool that you got midterm goal. And listen, that's cool on a bulletin board. I need some time frames, because this second class citizen stuff ain't it. Sorry.
No, I mean it's fair. I mean, I think that's where a lot of the PvP community is at, because there are people who truly do really enjoy PvP and Destiny. Like, some people like listen to Miss 5000 Watts on DCP, and she's like, she'll go to other games and she's like, it doesn't feel as good.
It don't feel good. Like, I love Destiny PvP.
But when you're like, what's the point after a while? That's the other side. Like, we lost how many maps, how many planets, and you got no new Crucible maps, no new Gambit maps. 1/2 strikes, but we got old. We're getting 2 new strikes, but they're not new, they're D1 strikes. And this is going to go into what's coming next. So this leads into the final part, and this is the one that is causing most people to be like, hey, some of these points in the TWAB are okay, kind of working, I understand. Most people just throwing a fit, and justifiably most of the time. So, the rewards area lead, Justin Dazet. I'm sorry, I probably butchered that. I don't know how to say it. Dazet. So however you like to read that in your head. Basically, they said they spoke about some changes that were making to gear in Season 13 in response to some feedback. Today, we're going to briefly talk about it. So first, let's review a list of what we'll see starting in Season 13. The first word of the first bullet kills me. I don't have to say anything else, and all it says is reissued. I don't have to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bullet points to know that this one's already off to a bad start. So I'm going to say some of this stuff, and then we're going to go recap. Because I have to get through it all, otherwise I'm going to stop somewhere in the middle.
Let's go.
I have to. Because I'm going to stop everywhere.
Read the scripture, brother.
I will read, and then we will discuss.
Turn to the book of
Reissued Dreaming City, Reverie Dawn, and Moon Dreambane armor. These will also drop with high stats when earned in Shattered Throne and Pit of Heresy. The final chest in Pit of Heresy will no longer drop a fully Masterwork Dreambane armor piece. Instead, the Dreambane armor piece will drop with 7 armor energy and is guaranteed to drop with at least plus 16 in 2 different stats with high stats overall. Dreambane class items will not drop from the chest. Reissued 4 weapons for Dreaming City with new perk pools: Waking Vigil, Sleepless, Vouchsafe, and Retold Tale. Dreaming City weapons that drop in the Shattered Throne dungeon can roll with perks that are unavailable from drops with other reward sources. Reissued 4 weapons for the Moon with new perk pools: Premonition, Heretic, Blasphemer, and Apostate. Weapons that drop in Pit of Heresy dungeon can roll with perks that are unavailable from drops from other reward sources. Expanding Lost Sector, Legend, and Mass Sector rotation to the 4 Moon Lost Sectors, all the K1. First thing I'll say is that more Lost Sectors than Legend and Master, like more locations for those, great, cool, totally not a problem.
Yep.
Okay, before I go for it, you guys are first. One of you guys take it, because I'm going to go when I get to me.
I know you're right.
You know what really hurt me with that is the very last day that Retold was usable. I have been searching the whole time since Forsaken launched for one roll on Retold. Rifled barrel, accurized rounds, slide shot, quick draw with range. I got it the last day that it was usable before it was sunset with Beyond Light. The very last day. And it dropped, and I was like, you gotta be. Like, I almost had a heart attack. I was like, why now? And then I saw that gun is coming back, and I have that one sitting in my vault with the perfect roll that it literally took me years to get. And it hurts. I think I blacked out. I dropped my phone. I went down to the garage and did deadlifts. I was like, all right, I'm done. It's when you hear things like, when we get rid of the recluse dominated, we can have recluses in the future. And then we go, we're getting the same guns. Like the armor, it's aesthetic. It's going to drop high stat. It gives me a reason to do Shattered Throne and Pit, which are 2 of the greater content pieces in the game. I haven't run Throne in I don't know how long. I would love to go run that. It's just a fun dungeon. It's a great piece of content.
I know.
If I can get good armor, cool. I can throw a ornament and shader on that, and it could look exactly the way I want. That's all arbitrary to me. But the weapons, like, it's even if they have new perks, which I know Cacus posted a post that said back when we got Gnawing Hunger, everyone was saying they were cool if stuff came back, if it got new perks or it changed. And I think they said they're going to be doing that. But it feels like a kick in the teeth, because those could have come forward and not had such that brunt of, that big loss we had for a very little net gain in weapons and your arsenal with Beyond Light. And instead they're like, well, now available next season, we got Apostate 2.0, Blasphemer 2.0. Head back to your favorite vintage Dreaming City store and get you your Retold Tale. Like, guys, you're killing me with this. I have 3 separate Bite of the Foxes in my vault from 3 different seasons of Iron Banner. One of them sunset. The other one lasts till next season, and the next one is going to last the next 2 seasons, and they all have almost the same roll. Like, I can't, it makes me sick to look at that in my vault. Like, I'm not going to go it's not going to hold my attention to go grind for those guns again, because unless the perks are so drastically different that there's just one that stands out to a major degree, it's not enough to hold me. It's not enough to pull me away from PvP.
Sure, Cognito.
Woo! So I've been listening in the background, just saw the news drop. He keeping me up to date what's going on in the world. I'm like, all right, can't be that bad. Can't be. No way. So, I mean, look, I read the thing. This is my first. My first thought was, okay, what are they trying to do here, right? And the first thought is, okay, this is a push to make Shadowkeep and Forsaken content relevant, which in theory, right, is supposed to be a good thing, right? Because these two pieces of content are still in the game, and I have to admit, it does not feel good.
You have to pay for them.
True, but they're for the most part in the game. You're in Game Pass, you got it. It doesn't. But
some people have to pay for them.
Some people don't. So a lot of people had to pay. Correct. You're absolutely correct. All I'm saying is that in theory, when I first heard it, I was like, okay, I do like the idea that Shattered Throne, Pit of Heresy, this is dungeon pinnacle good content is going to have a reward source and is going to be worth going. Because in my opinion, when I would be in, let's say, for example, the moon, and I'm up there doing Altars of Sorrow, right? It didn't feel good when whatever that shotgun is, I forgot it was Blasphemer or whatever. Right. And it got the big, it's Sunset logo on it.
Oh, it drops Sunset right now. Yeah. How is that a thing?
Right. I did tier 7 or whatever, altar, and here come your Sunset useless weapon. Thanks for playing. See you. Have a good night. That didn't feel good. So in the initial feeling was, okay, I see what they're doing. However, my issue is just like Titan saying, it does not feel good when you have worked for God roll weapons, right? And you have it. They're in your vault. And the game is saying, no, you can't use that. Go back out there and go regrind. That is it's disrespectful. Let's just call it what it is. It's disrespectful to time investment. Now, this is the question I want to ask y'all, and I want to know how y'all feel about it. I don't know if anybody's mentioned it, and I don't know. I doubt I'm the first, but I'm just going to ask y'all. Why don't they, and if they're going to do this, right, why don't they say, hey, Titan, hey, E, your Night Watch premonition, we're bumping that up in conjunction with whatever the new thing is.
So I would love that question answered.
Because now the guy that grinded like Titan, he's got that retold tail.
I have almost the same thing, but I had it a lot longer. But I still have one.
Right, because he's God roll. He's good. He's like, yo, I don't got a farm, right? But let's just say he jumps in there, and then they added a perk or something that he did like. And he's like, okay, I could do it. But you know what? I still got my God. It's not useless. So my thing is, they should have, this is bad planning all the way around. Yep. Because you said you were going to sunset. How did you not know? Like, when did this switch come to we're going to reissue all the time now? And it's now it's like half reissue, half new, half reissue. This is not what you told us. You told us we're going to get something like Titan said, better than Recluse. You get tired of that? Boom. And we let that rock. We said, okay, Bungie, we understand, right? Now it's like, this is the plan. Like, this seems to be what their version of reissue is. And it's not it, man. It's not it. And I hate to go crazy on them, but it's just like, I feel misled on that. I feel like, yo, that's not what the intentions of what you said that this thing was going to be. No one wants to look in their vault with God roll versions of these same weapons and say, yeah, I'm going to go back out there and grind because you put chain reaction on something. And you can't go back there and grind and you put, fine. All right, cool for the people who never got something good, but don't do that to the guys that, like, I want to know programming. Is there a way? Because they've done it, E. They've done it where they're like, yo, we're going to raise the cap of the raid armor up to 14 something. Right?
Oh, they could, yeah, they've definitely done that.
They've done it. So they can't say programming wise.
Somebody in chat said and I'm going to I'll get to mine here in a second, but somebody in chat said the main reason why, like, because they told you it was sunset, people cleared their vaults. So now they are
True.
pot committed to be like, hey, we told you to delete it. Some people kept it for nostalgia's sake.
Right.
Titan's probably got his because, like, Jesus, I finally got it 2 years later. I'm going to at least look at it in my vault occasionally just because, like, it's pretty even if I can't use it. Like, my Go figure, I didn't delete it. Same principle. And I have literally a retold tale almost exactly like yours, Titan. So, like, we had the same ones. But that's the issue is they told you this is not going to be a thing. Anymore, it won't be usable in high-level things, stuff like that. If you want to keep it for basic Crucible, you can. But generally, a lot of people got rid of them, cleaned out their vaults, got rid of anything that was going to be sunset. And it's not a season later that some of these changes are happening. We're getting reissues on 8 of these weapons. Armor sets are getting... Now, sunsetting armor is dumb right now. I'm just going to call that what it is.
Let's go. Let's get it.
It's killing me, man.
It's okay, so the biggest issue with armor, I'm going to give a couple pieces. One, transmog in season 14 is going to make it even more useless.
Yep.
Because then you have your stats, so you can change the look however you want to. All the time. Shaders, armor, whatever, you're just literally filling a stat hole. The worst part is right now, they've said, Joe Blackburn, and I've said this to more people than I know, Joe Blackburn previously stated, armor is going to get some type of change, so it isn't just a replacement stat every 12 months. That being said, if you get a set of armor right now that you like in season 12, you're done.
Yeah.
Period. You're good for 12 months. Armor 3.0 is probably going to come with Witch Queen. It's going to have potentially different functionality, whatever it is. We don't know if they're going to retroact anything, but usually as it goes, the newer stuff has some functionality. The old stuff doesn't. So season 13, 14, which I'm still guessing is going to be VOG, and 15, every armor drop in all of those theoretically is useless. Because it's probably going to get deprecated or at least made useless when Armor 3.0... It may infuse longer, but Armor 3.0 is going to be what they want you to get into. Same way they started pushing you into Armor 2.0 to be like, get rid of that old stuff. They're going to do the same thing again. So you have an armor set right now in Season 12 that will last through 15. Keep it, and then there's literally half your character. What are you doing now? You're just infusing 50 points every season just to get a number, which also feels crappy because you're just like, hey, give me more content. Don't raise the level. There's no reason to raise the level at this point. The whole seasonal, that's a whole podcast discussion in itself.
Get him going. Get him in. Get him in.
But that's the issue is like, why are those, like, some seasonal things to be like, hey, we added new stuff for you. We didn't give you another level to grind in Division when we added these things to go grind for. We just said, hey, it is top tier stuff. You can go do it. Now, doing the whole like 50 power level grind, I really hope they review that at some point. Because but when you add content just to be like, oh, I got to grind it out again. Got to grind it. And it's the slow part of the grind that nobody likes because then you're back doing strikes and Crucible and Gambit and stuff like that. Why do they do it? For player treadmill use over, and I get why they're trying to keep you doing it, but 7 years later, this is starting to feel really, really bad. So take all of that.
They took a step in the right direction this season because we do have you can play and you can get powerful drops.
Yeah, that is
pinnacle drops or whatever every so often,
powerful,
but
up to
it's tired, man. I'm right there with you. I'm so tired of doing that. Like I can't be. I don't think I have a single character right now that's 1260 or whatever it is.
I have only played my Titan. I have not touched the other two because I don't care to do the. Have not touched the other two because I don't want to grind them up. Literally, what I can do, I've done this from a hunter because usually I'll bounce between Warlock and Titan. Literally, at the end of every season, I'll go grab a couple sets of armor from the season pass, and they're high enough.
Yeah, I know.
All I ever do, and I just don't care. And I play with my Titan enough. I get to experience the Hawk Moon, the raid, I get to experience all the content. The raid is fantastic. But doing that grind on a second character, doing that grind on a third character for every season, that treadmill, I'm just shutting it off and I'm going to go hit another piece of equipment. Like, I'm good. I don't feel, all it is an arbitrary number.
Right.
I don't ever get to see stuff get higher. Numbers do more damage and feel more powerful. All you are is this arbitrary number, yet they play with that number however Grandmaster, you're weak. Nightfalls, you might be okay. Raids, you could be good, and then you'll make it, you'll turn it into a chump. You can die in a patrol, though. Like, the idea of your power level is kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a point where you're like, hey, I can basically smash all this stuff by look. You never feel that in this
You
game.
never feel that way.
No.
That's a shame. We've been beating that drum for the longest, me and you. So it's like, yeah, like, I miss D1. I'm gonna say Age of Triumph era, one of them eras where we went back in them old raids, and I felt like a god up in there. I was like, oh, Atheon, where you at? You know what I'm saying? Like, I
just
remember-
absolutely smoked him for you smoked him for that armor. Absolutely.
Oh, bro, I was bullying people on the playground, pushing kids out the way. I was ready, man. So just man, it's just I just wish you still felt like that, especially again with as much as I unlike you two, I've been playing a lot, and a lot of it is because the Xbox community is giving Destiny a chance because of Game Pass.
Yep.
So I'm sherpering so many people these days, right? And it's just putting them through it, and then I do feel like I'm like if I'm helping someone in a 1220 or whatever it is, and I'm 1275, 1280, I shouldn't be getting killed by really anything. Like it should be taking a while for me to I don't feel those levels of power. So yeah, it's definitely an issue. This right here, man. The armor, I'm with you. The
I was like,
armor-
I was gonna say, I was getting back.
bring it
And
back.
I was like,
Bring it
I didn't
back.
even get
Yeah.
to the TWAB.
Get your point. Yeah, get your point off.
The Lost Sector's great. Cool. The stuff about the dungeons, giving you a reason to go run it, I support that.
Like that.
The issue is, why did they have to figure it out in the first place?
Yeah.
You still have content that you pay for, which has already got a disjointed story. If you start Forsaken and
Facts.
spoiler alert, you see
Yeah.
Cade die, and you're a new player, and you're like, what the hell? Who is that guy? Why is he so important? There's people who have zero attachment to him, and they start Forsaken, he dies in your first mission, and you're like, okay, I know that guy died. Why? Well, I have no emotion. Zero. So then they don't understand Crow either. Why that's a big deal. They see that. So like that whole piece is there. Now, do I enjoy Shadow Throne and Pit of Heresy? Dungeons are one of my favorite things. Dungeons, secret missions, some of the best stuff. The final chest not dropping fully masterwork Dreambane armor. I kind of hate that that's going away for good.
Yeah, I was interested.
It doesn't have to do it all the time, but have a chance that every so often in some activities, be it flawless trials, be it the raid, be it you finish the dungeon, especially if you do it solo or flawless, give you okay, what if it was you had to do it flawless for a master? Like, dude, I would sure. Yeah. I would go for a flawless run for a masterwork. That's a different challenge for skill. And then, so I would like to see that sometimes, maybe not all the time, but some variation. Now, the Dreambane armor going up to 7 armor energy, we already joked how useless cores are. That's all they're giving you is all I used to ever take is my armor to 7 because I was never going to spend prisms or cores. I'll take anything to 7 because I have 900 cores to throw at them. So I'm like, that's cute. Now, high stat rolls, if it's 65 with 2 and plus 16s, you might get some of those nice distributions. 16 intellect, 16 recovery, 16, whatever. Those could be good. And getting rid of the class item is good. Or figure out how to make class items viable. That's a completely different issue. But those are one thing. Retold Tale, exact same thing. I'm looking at it right now. I've got a snapshot, quick draw, accurized rounds, rifled barrel, range masterwork. I have 96 range on my Retold Tale.
Yeah.
Just felt good. I do not want to try and get another one because I got lucky to get that one. I got it fairly early on. Vouchsafe, scout rifle. I had the curated. 100% no, I did. Sleepless, the rocket. There are 2 rocket launchers in here, and rockets suck right now.
Rockets terrible.
So
it better be a meta update.
If you don't make
rockets we don't know about.
If you don't make rockets good, now we're down to 6. And I can only picture somebody like Drewski who grinded the ever-loving crap out of Altars of Sorrow for a good apostate. The amount of time I remember people grinding for some of those rolls at Altars of Sorrow, that thing takes a while. There's no way to make it go faster. And the amount of people that finally got one of those, in December 10th it was gone, February 10th it will be back. 3 months you just don't get to use it, and then you got to go grind it again.
Let me ask you a question.
Go for it.
Because you're Mr. Dungeon. You're the Lord of Dungeon.
Yeah, well, I like him, yes.
You're the Lord of Solo Dungeons. You got to give credit where credit is due. But my question, how do you feel about at least the perks that are unavailable only from those. Does that excite you? For the only dungeon perks, you could only get certain perks there. Does that not excite you?
For not much,
okay,
theoretically, but it also depends on what perks. If you're just like Killing Wind, Chain Reaction, and Thresh are only in there versus Unrelenting and a couple others, I don't give a crap. That's not going to make it worthwhile. Now, if you're going to take Reconstruction, Recombination, put some raid level perks in there, that's at least something. But still, the fact that the Retold Tale is a gun I already have, and then if I go grind through there, and it's just the fact that you're playing with so much RNG.
Right.
For 2 years, some of the stuff has been in the game. 1 year for Moon, 2 years for the Dreaming City. And yeah, trust me, I enjoy the dungeons, and having a reason for some people to do it is there.
Mm-hmm.
But a reason for me to go earn a gun I already had for 2 years that I just couldn't use it for 3 years and I got to go get it again, that feels bad. I mean, as you said it,
it's rough.
This is not it. I was going to die on the hill of sunsetting, but the idea is you get better things. You get, right. These pursuit weapons that are cool and all this stuff. Like, at this point, sunsetting has been done next to almost wrong. You're losing so much in the Destiny content vault. You got rid of 2 expansions worth of armor and weapons, and you sunset them to 3 months later, bring half of that stuff back, much less the stuff that's in the vault. But how did it make it through like production choices to say, hey, here's an expansion, somebody can theoretically still go buy it, whether it's on sale or not. They can go buy Forsaken, they get a gun, it's useless. Yeah. They can't literally take a gun that they got in their story, go to Europa, and you can't make you literally can't take it to a planet.
Yeah, I think to me, this is just a Band-Aid for that. That's what I think this is. It literally feels like, because I remember it just felt bad. I was just like, why did, but again, like you said, like how is this not thought ahead of time? How is this not, I hate, look, I'm always pro-developer, I always, try to give respect, but it's like, I just don't understand how they put themselves in this kind of position with reissuing and with sunsetting, because at the end of the day, it's like, can't just take all these weapons, all this stuff out the pool, and then you're giving us half of stuff we already had about, and then you kind of said we're going to be getting new stuff, and we're not really outside of the Europa weapons, I would say.
We got Europa, right? And we got Season of the Hunt this time.
And the
those
raid,
are two,
right?
Yeah, and the raid.
Those were the joints, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, there's still not enough in the pool. And look, the reason why people are frustrated is because we said, okay, Beyond Light, we're going to give you a little pack because this is the first season. You just took away a chunk. It's the first season of introducing things back. Now we're coming up on this next season of whatever it's going to be called. And people start seeing that old mixtape stuff again. It don't feel good when you start seeing them old joints, them old albums keep coming back. And now your stuff is useless. And it don't feel good.
No,
so it's
Havoc actually said something in chat. He said, Fell Winters is better than Retold. And here's one thing somebody in chat said to me as well. Fell Winters is supposed to be on the kiosk next month.
Yeah.
Fell Winters also gets sunset at the end of next season.
Yep.
So, like, it's going to go in the kiosk for 3 months? Or is that going to get pushed forward? Like, that was one I didn't even think. Like, that's going to go in the kiosk for 3 months. What if somebody grinds out one of those exotic ciphers, buys it, gets, like, what is your, what's the raid reward currency?
Spoils.
Yeah, spoils. The spoils. Somebody, it's not cheap to buy those things in there. Somebody grinds out a lot of spoils and they get it for 2 months. Who's like at that point as well? You take a gun like Fell Winters that was a quest item, and again, now if they reissue Fell Winters, like, oh my god, people are going to lose them, like that type of stuff. But that is at this point what I'm expecting. I just expect to see everything round 2, and I'm like, the goodwill that Destiny had is really low right now for really what the future holds. Like, for me right now, I'm looking as far as Witch Queen, and between here and there, I just want to experience the story.
Right.
And you guys said, like, the gunplay in Crucible right now feels very balanced and good. I mean, Titan, you were saying you can almost take anything in here. The story beats, like the stuff with Crow, getting him free from Spider, and then you've got whatever we're going to have. Yeah, it's like that. Oh,
That immersion breaking moment when you free him and then you go right back in the spot.
Dude, get the hell out of there! Oh my god, leave!
That immersion breaking freedom.
Yeah, just leave, dude.
Come on.
I like
you
put
know
him.
they're just making him out to be like any other gamer. It's like saying, "Hey, COVID's over," and all the gamers open their front door and go, "All right, back inside to do the raid." They ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, but
that's one area.
They show a cinema with you leaving with this man.
Yeah.
Leaving.
I was like, go
and
park
literally
him
the next quest step
anywhere.
is go back to Spider. And he right in this spot. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, you got a slave
Like
mentality,
Crow.
brother? You're free.
Yeah.
Turn off the Xbox, Crow. It's time to go play outside with your friends. And he's like, nah.
I like it.
One more. I gotta get
like,
this
you
roll.
could've-
I gotta get this roll.
you could've
I'm
put
staying in
him-
here.
Anywhere else. Like, you could have put him in a cave. You could have plopped him into the Cosmodrome. I don't care where you put him. That is the one, like, the discussion's cool. You freed him. I want anything in this room. I want him. You get him. Put him somewhere else. That is one of the biggest missed opportunities with the story they've had in a long time is to not move him. Just move. Don't go to the tower, because obviously that's going to be a whole ordeal whenever that happens. Anywhere else. Somewhere.
Even
Hey,
Petra
Ruku said he got to go back and pack. I'm dead.
Ruku said he had to go back and
Yeah,
pack.
he's got to pack for like a month apparently to get out of there. Can't forget his teddy bear.
It's funny you bring up the story beats, because like that's the part of the PvE for me that is the most drawing for me. And personally speaking, from Beyond Light, that's the part that fell the flattest for me. For one particular aspect. And I know this is kind of away from the convo a little bit, but Shadowkeep, we get introduced to the pyramid on the moon. And you walk up on that sucker, and it purposefully slows you down. You can't run, you can't sprint, you walk up and you see it's been there the whole time. The big bad, we've been told, is creeping in, has been here watching us ready the whole time. It's almost like that moment you meet Harbinger in Mass Effect.
Yeah.
And you have that talk, and it's so quotable, and it's a 2-minute conversation.
Fire.
He says your words are as empty as your future. Your confidence is born of ignorance.
Haven't played this yet, by the way.
No, spoilers if we can, because he's gonna do the trilogy. He's gonna do the trilogy though.
Yeah.
He's gonna do the trilogy.
He ain't even gonna.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
You won't
for
catch any of that. Yeah,
I'm waiting for the remaster. The remaster soon. It's on my list. So.
But that, like, you just meet this enemy that you feel is so insurmountable, and then Beyond Light, we're supposed to be. We have our first interaction with them, our first stasis. And it's like, he's like, we show up and he's like, hey, bro, you like ice? Listen. I know that light stuff is cool and all, but check this out. Trust me, it's going to be awesome. Which is like, okay, we're getting it. We're getting to use stasis a little bit. But, you know, the whole time your ghost is saying, I'm worried you're going to get corrupted. I'm worried this, I'm worried that. But you're worried without cause, because we never do anything that shows that. Let's say you take out one of Aramis's lieutenants, and your ghost is questioning him about Aramis, and you draw your weapon and you put him down. Execute one of the lieutenants right in front of your ghost while he was talking to it. Tell me you wouldn't be like, oh, damn, man, that just got dark. Like, my guardy, where did that come from? Like, I didn't even make that choice. Like, he just smoked that joint. Like, what happened? If we'd have had a moment like that, or, you know, you could hear that the little stasis crystals talking to you in the background, or there was something that made me feel like, man, my guardian is going down a path that we've never seen him go down.
Good point.
I feel like it would have hit a lot heavier for me. Instead, we got the side story with another Kel, another one of them that just it fell flat for me. And I'm hoping that with the Witch Queen, they've been teasing this so long. This has been one of the biggest bads throughout all the lore period.
Right.
When she shows up, she better show up and wreck shop. We better not just be like, okay, she's a pushover, we beat her in 12 hours in a campaign. I want this to be something that's, I mean, one of my favorite things about you. You mentioned one of the little questions you asked me was some of your favorite times in Destiny, your favorite moments in Destiny, taking King. Because when we defeat Oryx and find out that if you really want to go beat him, hop yourself in that raid with 5 other people and go kill him. I was like, oh, I'm in it. Let's go. I'll spend as much time as I have to learn to take this fool down, who shows that strength at the beginning by annihilating an entire fleet like it wasn't anything for him.
Facts.
I really hope we get some serious story beats and they get away from some of the, it's like the stuff with the Crow. I'm all for it this season.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting. It's been really cool to see, even like the community reaction to how he's changed was completely the opposite that I thought. Most people are like, he's the greatest. He has to be protected at all costs now because he's like a brand new Guardian.
Yeah,
My man had a bucket with toilet paper by him in the Cosmodrome. Like, bro, I felt for him. I was like, yo, my man just got his first apartment outside the Cosmodrome over here. Yeah. He's living it. He's in it right now.
He's in a rough part of the hood, but he's living, man.
Yeah, he's living. He's on his own. He's branching out. He got his, No, and that's,
man,
believe me,
dying.
I completely... Like, for me, I think it was the acting for Elsie and Anna. I enjoyed a lot of that as opposed to the darkness. Yeah, because going through the Lost Sector, seeing what Elsie went through, having Clovis be the tie into the raid was cool. And I think that should have been the play. Because...
I was about to go there. You took my point.
Sorry.
Yep.
Like, and we may have said this before on the podcast too. I don't honestly remember, but it's like the darkness, as you said, like Zavala's like, oh, you're not going to use that, right? Like, I mean, come on. Even Zavala's like, hey, you're not going to use darkness anymore. You still had never a question later. The ghost, there's one point where the ghost is like, I'm with you through, like, I'm having issues. It's like, I'm sorry I doubted you. Like, there was a little bit of that. But as you said, if there was a moment where like, what if you just were like, as you said, uncontrollable pieces? Like the moment when one of the best moments of Destiny 2 was in the Red War campaign where we lost our powers and we had to walk slow. Yeah. The dramatic nature of being basically a broken guardian with no power on the brink of death. That was one of those rare moments. If you had an extreme other side where the darkness almost possessed us to do something, like it's almost pulling your gun and you can't control it or something, and it's trying to use you as a bit of a puppet as opposed to just like, hey, here's some ice, use it. Like that for me, I'm with you on that one, Justin, for like the darkness to be this thing. And that's why I was like, the whole piece of Garden of Salvation saying, hey, is it like we're your salvation? Like, we don't quite know what that means, but to be a bit, are they good? Are they bad? Right. There didn't feel like there was that much to embracing the darkness. You're just like, hey, I hit a crystal, got it again, crystal, got it again, crystal.
Yeah, like, and for me, that was saying like that. That's saying you don't have a choice. I'm not your friend, and I'm certainly not your enemy. Me saying I'm not your enemy is saying, hey, you ain't got a chance, bro. Like this wouldn't be a fight.
Yeah.
We're your salvation. You don't have a choice. We're here. This is what's gonna happen. And then it was just like, all right, icicles.
Yeah,
have fun,
I agree.
Guys.
I agree. You nailed it. You nailed it, bro, because that part fell flat for me too, because like you said, Shadowkeep, it was built up as the big evil, like you said, that's been lurking, that's behind the scenes. You know, we felt slow when we were around it. We didn't know what was going on. This starts, Elsie's pushing us in that direction, but there's besides your ghost whining every once in a while, there's no real internal struggle with you. You're like, I got new toys. I can do this. Yeah, it's like, that's it. And you've completely embraced it. There's no internal conflict. To me, like E said, the best parts of it were narrative-wise. I like the Elsie, basically the strange. Like to me, she saved it. She's a great voice actress.
Yeah,
the Elsie, the Anna relationship, and I actually was more in tune with Clovis. Like Clovis is what got me excited, and I like the simulation. I like how he be talking his talk to you, like Elsie, you're my
He's a
granddaughter.
twisted dad. He is messed up,
like,
dude.
I like hearing his voice. I like hearing his voice during the raid. You filthy intruder. Oh, you think this is the great, you know, I love that mad scientist talk. And I'm a little disappointed. This is where I take a little from Deep State Crypt, because Deep State Crypt is amazing. I'm tired. I wish it wasn't Tanix.
Oh yeah, no, I mean there's probably lore that explains why he's there, and I just haven't looked into it. But like,
I was hoping it was Clovis,
the random Shadow Kel, as opposed to like they may have some bigger plan for Clovis now, but it did feel just so like Atrax was like, okay, you're in Fallen are in here. You got this like Fallen who combined with exotechnology and the darkness, and he's like, he's a badass now. Cool. And then we're fighting, you know, wheelchair Tanix, like floating, like, like just floating around, like
Grandpa Tanix.
Grandpa Tanix floating around with the little. He said, wheelchair, I'm done.
I was like, you just got like, I mean, but it was like that's what he was, and it was just like, it did seem arbitrary because Atrax fit really well, like. And it's just weird.
I wasn't happy to see Tanix again. Like I said, the fight itself is cool. The encounter is cool. It's just him. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've been getting attached to Clovis in general, just his stuff. And, you know, especially when you do the Lament, right? You do the Lament quest. I thought that was great. And here, and then you learn about, you know, all that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was hoping it was going. So I was a little disappointed with that. But yeah, I'm with you guys overall. Like, there was some missteps a little bit. And we all know Aramis ain't dead. That's the other thing.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
She's just frozen up there. Yep.
Yeah. So that's that. But yeah, I mean, they said, hold on. Shout out to Ruko. He said the point of Tanix is because he represents immortality, but it's not clear in D2. You'd have to pay close attention to T. Well, that didn't hit for me, bro. I mean, it very well, maybe explained well in the lore. Great. But playing it and seeing Tanix the remix, it just ain't hit for me as, you know, this epic moment as if we were fighting Oryx. Fighting, you know what I'm saying?
The raid should be more like a self-contained story. Yes. It plays out like a story. I mean, it really does the whole way through. If Clovis had been there at the end, I would have been elated to see him there.
Could you imagine, like, remember how you do a Lament, you got the big head version? Like, could you imagine, like, a boss robotic? You know, Clovis, so crazy. Yeah. It would have been crazy to me. Like, I was hoping. Like, I mean, hopes too high.
You even have Banshee as literally a copy of his consciousness that's been cleared so many times. So he's like somewhere in there. Like, you could have had like big Clovis who he woke up. You could have theoretically had another one in there that would have just fit. I'm with you. Would have fit more.
Protect the station. You know, he was doing his little dark magic, and now he got too far with it. We got to stop him.
Yeah.
But I digress.
But yeah, I was like, so in the grand scheme, for me, like, the story has cool points, and I like where, like, Crow's got some cool beats to it, like Anna and Elsie and Clovis. Like, there are some cool interactions happening. We had season of, like, the little ships on the wall and all that stuff happening, Fallen 2. Yeah. We still don't know what all is happening there, and it feels like we just lost some planets. So it's like, they're doing this long, drawn-out story, and it's like, for me, the way Sunsetting, the uselessness of armor at this point for me, I really, honestly, my playtime over the next few seasons is looking minimal enough just to see, like, story beats through. Maybe experience, like, get an exotic that comes in, see these little bits, but, like, doing the crazy grinds and stuff, it feels like it's going to be less because as the reissues are, and I know they're building up the reward team and they're trying, but it just feels like my eyes are on Witch Queen, and between now and then, I'm just going to see what's the light stuff in between to see what gets us there. And I think that's where I'm at. And it's like, I hate to be at that place, but it feels like that's definitely where I am, especially when I've been playing stuff like Hades and Demon Souls and stuff like that. And I'm like, that crap feels amazing. And there's so many other things in my backlog that I'm like, guess this is the time till they figure out what they're going to do.
And it's okay.
I just want to get invested again, man. I want to get to the point where when I come home, I'm like, I gotta log in and get my time in. I want that from a story and a gameplay perspective. Like, when you asked, it was funny. Your questions just got me thinking. When you asked, like, what's some of my favorite series, where Gears of War was one that popped up. And I don't know, either of you guys play Gears?
Oh yeah,
He's played a lot more. I played 5 only, so I missed a lot of the pre.
I played every single one.
Yeah, so like the first couple Gears games, you're playing through. You got Marcus, you got Dom, and I played those games with my little brother. And Cognito, you play through, and we're playing co-op, and then we get to the point where, oh boy, Dom,
Oh yeah,
man, that's one of the best moments in all the game, and he makes that sacrifice. I literally watched my little brother right next to me like crumble. He's like, he got so emotionally invested in this character. And I'm like, bro, it's done. I want to get to that point with Destiny where I'm just like, man, I need to feel that again for my love in Destiny to be 100% just back in it.
I feel you, brother. We could only hope, I just try to.
Are you guys hopeful for the future? You say hope, and that seems to be in short supply on Twitter.
I mean, listen, we've been through this before. To me, it's this cyclical thing with Destiny. I'm so used to it now. It's just they always, stub their own triple. What's that? Hit the rake and hit them in the face, and then they do something amazing, and then you're back in again.
It just at this point, it feels like it's the longest since the amazing that we've had. Forsaken, Taken King, huge turnarounds.
Facts.
This time, as we're so much farther away, as this is 4, and we are potentially waiting till year 5, that's a long time for us to hit that moment again. Now, granted, do I think they can do something awesome? I think it's possible. I don't know where their focus is at within the studio. I don't know how much matters for, development sources. I don't know if it's even got the majority at this point. And Destiny is, can I put out something that makes us money with microtransactions, some season passes, and trickles this along if maybe their focus is on it? I can't tell where their focus is because it feels like I know they're hiring a lot of people. I know Justin Thoreau or whatever, not the right person. I can tell you that's not the right guy. Justin, I don't know his name. He was the one saying we're trying to build up the rewards team, or Joe Blackburn was saying that. And I know that what they want to get to, I think, and a lot of us have seen potential in this for a while, but I know the fatigue is setting in for people like me, for some of you guys, 7 years into this one. And now as we're at the point, we've been doing this we're in year 4 of Destiny 2, and you're telling me we're just getting more of the same? It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. And the hope at this point, my hope is for something farther away because I feel like what needs to change is not small. I guess is the best way I can say it. They can't be fixed overnight, and I get that, but that just means I'm going to spend my time other places while they do work on the stuff that I can hope for.
That's literally where I'm at. Well said. That's literally where I'm at. I'm at the point now where the change that needs to come, in my opinion, is going to be expansion level change as opposed to season of this change. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be incremental. And as we talk about incremental changes and things going on, you know what time it is, Titan? You know what time it is, baby?
Let's go.
2021. It's time to get back out there, get back in shape. Y'all know what it is, man. Y'all been in the crib. COVID has been getting a hold of everybody in this pandemic. But we here at The Last Word, right, Titan? We got to promote this fitness thing, man. Don't you agree? Don't you agree? We really got to promote this fitness.
Look at the form.
Look at the form.
Look at the consistency in those reps. I can't see his face, but I feel the breathing being on point.
Breathing. Right, look at this, man. Look at this level that we are providing. The man is out here giving y'all game on what you need to be doing when you're stuck at home during the pay. Oh, said Fred. Oh, he got the water down. Oh, it's on now. Now we got the push-ups on deck. You know what I'm saying? What we doing? We doing
this the diamonds? This isn't fair. My push-up form's nothing on these other two.
We doing the diamonds? We doing the jumping jack? What we doing? We gonna show off on them? Or we just gonna keep it basic? We gonna keep it basic. All right, so we gonna keep it basic. Look at that level of form. Look at the consistency. What you think? Give us some play-by-play here.
Shoulders tight.
Yes.
Good arch in the back.
Woo.
And legs together. You can bring that chin up just a little bit, man. Just a bit. Don't look down when you're doing reps, chat. You close that windpipe, you ain't got oxygen coming through. Trust me, it's terrible. I've seen it. You kids black out under a squat rack. Can't be having
Don't
that.
back out into the sky, right? Facts, man. Look, man, he's been gone a long time. The crowd, they are relentless. They want the sit-ups. Now we get in the reverse angle. So look what you
see
get.
now. Here we go.
Do you see what's going?
Here we go.
Do you see the concentration, the tension on? Oh, with the raise,
I'm telling
the raise. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Getting that lower abdomen going. Let's
lower
go.
Ab game on fleek. You ain't
my guy. I knew I was in the right place. I knew when the last word hit me up. This was the place to be.
This is where you gotta be, man. You're premium content. Where are you gonna get this
I'm
at?
done after this one.
He put a disclaimer out. He's like, I'm done, damn it, after this. Oh!
Okay, here we go.
This is just showing off.
Getting them tries engaged. Let's
He's like, stomach pull. Okay. All right,
safety first, chat. I can respect that.
I can respect it. See,
that was ego actually hurt too many people in the gym.
That was a good learning tool, Titan. I was right. Because if you pull something and then you say, you know what? Let me switch to something else because we're not going to try to, we keep the ego out of this, right?
Telling you, man. And that short intermission was sponsored by Advanced GG.
Advanced GG.
Link in the description for your discount code today.
Ooh, the cheetah is back. I haven't seen that red face in a long time. Look at that. Oh, man, this is a good day. Chat, you guys are relentless.
Impeccable form, EB. I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you, brother. I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
Proud of you.
Does TheIRLTitan improved?
I'll take that one.
You get it from the Titan, you official. For say something like so, dude, see, this is what we missed, man. We even do 2021 until this took off. Now it's official. The year has begun.
I'm just gonna go sit over there and do my closeout with a wall sit or something. Like, what the hell?
No doubt, man. I got that else to say, man. You done wrapped it up real well, man.
Okay. All right, so that's been it for. No, I'm just kidding.
No doubt.
If you're gonna do it, at least try and do it right.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Black Wing. He said, Destiny's proving one thing. It is what it is. Point blank. Same combos every year. Same issues. I'm with you, Black Wings. I'm with you. I don't even fight no more. I don't even get mad anymore. I just sit there and say, okay, this is what y'all doing. Stuff I'm interested in, I'll log in. Stuff I'm not. I got all this backlog of games. I got my man Titan playing Red Dead right now. I'm going through backlog. When my raid team comes to ask me to jump in, I say, yeah, man, I'll help you guys, whatever you need. Any of my Sherpas, I help out. But, I'm not going to allow it to stress me. But I do feel for the content creators who all they do is produce Destiny content. This is going to be a tough stretch. And people are going to have to make adjustments. You know what I'm saying? And that's my final point on it. Just, you're going to have to make adjustments to really, diversify the channel and do other things. Because if it's going to continue like that, then for sure, you got to do it. Shout out to Forte out here gifting them subs.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate the love.
Nope.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm the same way. It's like I'm playing Hades, Demon Souls, working on the Spider-Man DLC to play Miles Morales.
Woo.
I made a list of games that's stupidly long.
Mm-hmm.
Backlog that I didn't even play from last year, maybe 2.
Ooh.
Horizon Zero Dawn before the second one.
Yep.
Death Stranding. I got a new graphics card. I'm gonna go enjoy all these pretty new games. So
Jedi Fallen Order just got an update.
Definitely.
I'm about to jump in that. Stuff to play, man. I'm not even stressing it. Let them do what they do. When they do it right, we still gonna be playing. We still gonna be checking in. You know what I'm saying? It's just it is what it is until we get the bigger change that we want.
Well, that's all I got. Titan, if you want to kind of let them know where they can find you, if you want to drop your OnlyFans link, this is that time.
Man. I don't know if I could drop the link just yet. I'm waiting for first of all, I got to get approval from the missus. I got to make sure it's always all good.
Yep.
Factual.
But I can't just be dropping it willy-nilly. Maybe if I quit the day job, and I ain't got to worry about getting fired. I'm telling you.
I'm done.
I can't just be dropping it out of nowhere. But one thing I did want to say before we head out of here is that You know, there's a lot of talk, even with us talking about fitness, with us talking about gaming, whatever. Like, it's been a rough year for everybody. 2020 was really rough. 2021 is not looking a whole lot better. And
No.
if you're doing something, if you're playing something, if you're doing something that's stressing you out, that's really screwing with your mental health, don't be afraid to branch out.
Preach.
I saw a tweet from MTash. He switched to Genshin,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and he lost 50,000 subscribers in a
But-
very short period of time, but he gained 250,000.
Mm.
If you're looking to do something different, if you're thinking about getting interested in your health, go to the gym. You might fall in love with it and never look back. Read, write, whatever you got to do, just find something else. Fitness is not just physical. You got to focus on your mental health as well, because I wouldn't be able to do this as long as I have done it if I didn't focus on my mental health. If I had never gotten into these communities, I'm not sure I would even still be here today. I wouldn't be sitting here right now talking to these two wonderful gentlemen who invited me on today.
Thank you, sir.
Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and you can find me at OnlyFans / I'm having some mic issues. Guys, can you still hear me?
Oh, we lost him.
We
yeah.
lost him.
Oh man. Well, since we'll have to edit that in post. Don't worry about it. But you can find me at TheIRLTitan on Twitter, or Miles_Muscle on Instagram. Hit me up whenever. I'm always down to answer any questions, fitness, gaming, whatever. If you're gonna ask for the OnlyFans link, do it in the DMs. That's all I got to say.
Slide in the DM.
Slide ever so quietly
Woo.
into those
To the
DMs
DM.
with lube.
No.
And it's been a genuine pleasure, gentlemen.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
That's the most rawest I ever heard you. That was hilarious. He always lashes me for jumping out of pocket.
Oh, yeah, that's just me when you're not watching. That's all.
You have to know. It's late. That's why
Me after dark. Yeah, not quite the same. Gotta keep it clean to the public
Yeah,
facing
thank you both
forums.
for having me on. It's been a great pleasure sitting here with both of y'all.
Seriously, it's been a pleasure as well. I knew we'd have a blast, and we definitely did. Cognito, what do you got to wrap it up, and we will tie a bow on this episode?
Yeah, man. Again, salute to the Titan for pulling up, man. Long overdue. I'm glad he was able to make it. I know we've been getting this cooking, trying to get it cooking for a while, so it's good schedule-wise it worked out. Good to be back. You know what I'm saying? Good to be back doing it. I missed last word. It felt weird being off so long.
Yeah.
And but obviously not through circumstances we can control. But the internet gods have blessed us. And we are back. But yeah, man, y'all know me at LordCognito on Twitter. Follow me if you want. And at Iron Lord Podcast, every Sunday is the Lord's Day, 1 p.m. Eastern. We should have some cool guests in the realm talking about gaming. We will have Dreamcast Guy and Hogue Law.
Oh, man.
So those will be the two. We're going to talk about all the stuff going on in the gaming industry. Star Wars game from Bethesda. Division 2's massive leaving and making, what you call it?
Star Wars Open War, yeah.
Ooh, what does that say for Division? Oh boy, I don't know about a 3 now.
It's like it's done.
Yeah, that might be a Rizap. So we got that. And yeah, we just a lot of other stuff going on in the game. So check us out, 1 p.m. Eastern. You catch that on YouTube, Iron Lords Podcast, or on Twitch if you want to catch us there. And of course, it is great to be back on The Last Word. Oh, last thing, lordsofgaming.net, man. Please, if you guys see those articles, the retweets, the shares, all that really helps a great little team of writers that we got. Passion project by gamers. So really appreciate the support. So lordsofgaming.net. And of course, The Last Word, my man. Cheetah back out here giving y'all that fitness, giving y'all that destiny knowledge. I'm gonna still say one of the best. He don't like what I say. I still feel it. Humbly speaking. People don't know about us.
We enjoy our podcast here, and we thank each and every one of you for being here. The love today for the channel, by the way. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate all of that. Thank you guys so much for kicking off the year. Titan, sir, it has been an honor and a pleasure. And believe me, we had a blast. You are welcome back pretty much any time because, yeah, we apparently can kick it. We just got to clear that schedule for you. Get your workouts in and you are good.
Deserve.
And then for me, you guys know, as we talked about today, there will be some Destiny sprinkled in. There will be some other things covered. If you guys have been watching my Twitch streams, you know I've been having some fun with some other stuff. Working on Spider-Man to get to Miles Morales right now, which is like my next beat. Yeah, I'm going through the DLCs because I never did those. I did one of them, about 3 hours, so quick little stream segment. And then Miles Morales, work on that one. So a lot of fun stuff in between. And as Titan said, in the times that we're in right now, especially in what's going on in the capital, what's been going on in the world in the last 6 months, so many things in this world are tense and not in a good spot, and people are not treating each other very well. If you want that escape, make sure it's fun. Make sure you're enjoying your time and what you're doing, because if you're not, find something else, because it is not worth it right now to do something that you find for us. Just step away, find any other thing.
Well said.
It is the time to make your time that you spend on you worth it.
Bridge.
So that being said, for episode 132, thank you guys, January 15th, Titan, Cognito, and all of us here at the Last Word Campfire. Thank you guys very much. We will see you guys next week. I think it's going to be a morning show next week. So if you made it to this far, we got Cloud Plays coming on. For now, we're going to go raid Fallout Plays to give him a little love. So thank you guys very much. Indeed. So for this episode, it has been The Last Word.